It's Taco Day.
It's look.
Wait. Explain that.
You know what today is? It's Travis's day.
It is Travis's day, that's for sure.
It's
Except
not my
for
birthday.
one.
It's not my anniversary. It's there's a lot of stuff going on in the universe that I'm a big fan of. And it's 90210 premiere day.
Yep.
It's Taco Day. It's guys that love
Golf
Day.
Lovers Day.
It's Vodka Day.
And National Cinnamon Bun Day.
No, hard pass. I've told you that story.
I had one yesterday with coffee.
Okay,
night.
first, if I told you that you get everything, you get the taco.
Yeah.
You get the go out and golf.
Yeah.
You get a vodka as well. You put however you want prepare your
F,
vodka.
Mary, kill.
But you also have to have a cinnamon bun.
Uh-huh.
That's part of the setup, too. You have to eat a full cinnamon bun.
Are we talking like a Cinnabon size one that's like the size of a car battery? Or
Yes.
can I have like one of the little ones that you get at a pastry counter?
No, you got to have the full one. You get everything else. If it's your day, you got to at least play with this national day.
It's been a very long time since I've had one of those that I nearly got taken out.
I know.
Right? You know how sometimes you look back and like, that was a lot closer than I thought. Like that was far more dangerous than I
It
realized
still
at
has
the time.
scarred you.
I was 11 years old.
Yeah. You've ever heard this story, Jorge?
No.
So I went to visit, my brother and I went to visit my Aunt Kim in Orlando, Florida.
Love Aunt Kim.
Yeah.
Love Aunt Kim.
And we go to visit my Aunt Kim, and we're living in L.A. at the time. And so my brother and I fly across the country to go stay with Aunt Kim. And we're going to go to Disney World and SeaWorld and all this kind of stuff. We're going to go, spend 5 or 6 days with Aunt Kim. And on the first morning we're there, you know those Pillsbury cinnamon roll things that come in the tube? You crack the tube open.
You put them in the oven.
Put them in the oven,
Always
right?
scare you because they burst at you. Yeah.
Yeah, the tube pops when you open it up.
Mm-hmm.
So she makes cinnamon rolls for me and my brother. And my brother is a normal person, so he has one. My Aunt Kim is a normal person, so she has one.
Yep.
Her husband Greg has one. My cousins AJ and Matt, they have one. Well, there's like 12 in the package.
So there's a good 4 or 5.
And then they come with like the
little drizzle.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little drizzle, right? So there's like 4 or 5 of them remaining. Mm-hmm. It's where your boy steps in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right? I eat 4 or 5 of these things. Take down the rest of the tube.
milk, no coffee, anything.
That's probably milk.
Milk, okay.
At 11, he was doing black coffee.
It might have helped the process. Well, it turns out, apparently the tube had been left open.
Ooh.
The dough had gone bad,
Oof.
and it made everybody sick.
Ugh.
So you have one of these, you feel kind of lousy. Maybe you have a bad afternoon.
Yeah.
Had 4 of these bad boys. I spent 2 days on the bathroom floor of Aunt Kim's house.
Jeez.
Could not I don't want to be gross about it, but you had to make a choice, one or the other, because they were happening at the same time, right? So you had to make a choice. One part of this is not going to go well, right? So I was in the tub it was a mess. So I have not eaten a cinnamon roll since then. I
He's
was
scarred
10.
for life.
Oh,
I'm
man.
50. I turned 52 in a month.
Yep.
Haven't had one since. So
I don't
as
blame you, man.
good as all of that other stuff is, I don't know if I could get there.
I get his story. You said you had one yesterday with coffee.
I did.
Oh, it sounds so good.
Dude, we warmed it up too for just a little
come
bit.
on.
Oh.
I have a story about like funnel cakes too.
Come on.
Same thing. I can't
You
have
got
funnel
sick?
cakes. Yeah, I can't. I
Yeah.
never have funnel cakes ever. Even the smell.
They'll scar you. No, I mean, if you have whatever dish that you have that did not go well, those are tough to get over, especially, kind of think about it from a young age.
We
But
end up at-
cinnamon bun, I don't care what happens. I'm having one. I'm fighting through whatever you have.
That's like when people take these tests, like baking cinnamon thing, right? Cinnamon roll or whatever is like one of those universally appealing scents, right?
Yeah.
They pump it into store, all of these things that everybody likes. I go to see a cinnamon. I have to go around it.
So-
It is so Pavlovian. It's so
Back to my
triggering.
original question.
No.
You get the taco.
Yeah.
You get the full day of golf. You get some vodka, but you got
Do
to
I get
have
to watch
one.
multiple episodes of
You can watch
90210?
whatever you want, but you have to have one full cinnamon roll. I think you would be in, and I'll tell you why. As bad as your situation was when you were 11 years old,
2 days.
they're good.
They
You just
were
have to
good.
have them. You just have to have them when they're not
They
when they're
were
not
good.
spoiled.
No, they tasted fine. It's triggering.
So when did you guys find out it was bad? That it
Because
was
everybody
open?
got sick. It was the only thing that we'd all eaten. right? So, probably like if it were just me and my brother, maybe something you had on the plane or whatever it is. It was
Right.
just them, something before we got there. It was everybody there got sick, and it was the only thing we'd all eat.
You did have 4 of them. Just a heads up.
Probably more.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I do want to ask you your answer to this. So,
All right.
F, marry, kill though. Tacos, golf, vodka.
Vodka.
Well, you have to answer the three
okay.
categories: F, marry, kill.
The kill is easy. It's vodka because
Okay.
there's plenty of other options on the table for me right there.
Okay, what if we did taco, golf, and the specific martinis that you like?
Ooh. Jorge, close your ears. I think tacos go.
Taco's gone.
I think so.
Yeah, good. I don't blame you. There are
Yeah.
salad tacos. I would get rid of them too.
Okay, then who do you marry?
Playing golf.
Okay.
Yeah, playing golf. I really
And you'd have a
enjoy
good
playing
time
golf.
with your martinis.
I would have a
Yeah,
good, and I
a
could bring my
one-night
martinis
stand.
to the golf,
golf
and we're
course,
going to
yeah.
have a really
Guys
good time.
having a one-night
And
stand.
I'll have a
martini.
burrito. I'll have a burrito instead of eating a taco. Right? We didn't take the ingredients
Yeah,
of
look at
tacos
that.
off the board. We
That's
just took tacos off
You
the
got like
board.
a taco, like a bowl too. Who knows?
Absolutely. How are you guys feeling this morning?
Great.
Feel good, man.
Yeah.
I had a decision to make yesterday. I think we both had food decisions that we had to make yesterday.
bad one.
You had a bad one?
Yeah. Go ahead. You tell me yours first.
So it's about 7 o'clock. Michelle goes to the gym, comes back, and as a great partner as I am, she got back and did something productive. It's like, what do you think of some pizza and wings? What do you think?
She suggested that, or you did?
I suggested it. I suggested pizza and wings.
Sure.
And she's the one that went and worked out. I did not work out.
Okay.
And I'm just sitting there watching the games. By the way, the baseball games starting in the middle of the day, and they're meaningful. That's not a bad little
pretty great.
lineup. Yeah,
It's
that's
pretty
not
great.
a bad lineup. I actually the only thing I didn't like about the games is there's too much overlap.
There's a lot.
I'm like, why just start some of these games a little bit later? They can't because it's Milwaukee, it's
Yeah,
Phillies
we
where
need
they're
to
playing
have
the games.
the Rays and Blue Jays should play in San Francisco.
Yeah,
like,
just do
let's
something
get
like that.
something in the Western time
Can
zone.
we get a first pitch 7:05? Can we get one of those? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you want to do some pizza and wings? And there's a place in Pasadena called Bambino's. I think I've mentioned it before.
Sounds familiar.
Okay, it's a place in Pasadena. So she's like, all right, she's not a wings person, so I'm like, all right, perfect. I'm going to order pizza and wings, and I just get
I haven't
to
heard
enjoy
any
the wings.
bad part of this
Yeah,
story
I
yet.
get to enjoy the wings. So we order.
Do you have a couple beers in the house already waiting for you?
No, I was
Okay.
just kind of getting over something.
Okay, I
I'm
understand.
kind of more in
Just
the
I just heard pizza, wings, and
It's
baseball,
fair.
and I figured there has to be
It's
a couple
completely
of cold
fair.
beers
It's
somewhere.
it's completely fair. So I call the Bambino's place, and I'm ordering. And the guy goes, can I get your name? I said, Alan. And he goes, this has happened one other time at the same place. I just think it's kind of funny. But he goes, Sliwa? Literally says, as if it was like a caller. Like it sounded just like it would be a caller. He's like, oh, man, I knew. He was like, something to the effect of like, oh, I knew that voice.
So you said, I'll take a pizza, an order of wings.
Yep.
Can I get a name for the order?
Sausage, red onions. I'm like putting together my pizza, and then I tell him the wings. And I don't know if it's also too because I pretty much anytime I order from here, I'm ordering the same exact thing.
Alan. Okay.
And but it's just fine. I'm like Alan, and he goes Sliwa. I was like, all right,
She said, who?
Wait, yeah, exactly
I have
that.
a question. Is it the same place that burnt your pizza and you didn't want to return it back?
No, not this
Okay,
place.
okay.
Definitely not this place.
How much of free
That place-
sausage
that-
did you get at
That
Bambi's?
place, they took care. That was the toppings were good. There's plenty of toppings on there.
Anchovies on us, Lee. I mean, something. They had to throw something in there, right?
Okay, but I'm sitting there. So food comes, bro. I'm just sitting there. Whatever time, 8 o'clock. Just pizza, wings, and baseball. And I don't know how you are with your buffalo wings, but there's a good amount of buffalo sauce
Sure.
on there. That crust. I don't know what you're doing with your crust.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
going
of
right on
course.
that buffalo wing, or
Of
it's
course.
going right on the sauce. It was just a good night, man.
You got real wings, right?
What do you mean, real
Bone
wings?
in.
They had a bone in.
Bone
it.
in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Just like to double check.
Yeah, don't be like Graham. Graham leaves a bunch of chicken left on there. I was like,
I
you
don't
can
think
make
there's some
two
of these
wings
spots
out of
they don't sell everything they sell is bone in.
They don't sell
Well,
like
they
boneless?
sell chicken wings.
Yeah, they sell.
Yeah, other
chicken
places
wings.
sell
Yeah.
chicken nuggets.
Yeah, no,
that are mislabeled as wings.
No, and when you said if
Boneless
this was
wings.
if we're going through that 5
Chicken nuggets are good, but we just
I'm
let's
with
just
you
not
too.
call them wings.
Yeah,
They're not.
I'm with you on that. If we're going through the what is it of which wing person are you, and they have like all the different types of wings, the one where there's basically only half of the bone remaining, I rank in that category. I don't even know if it's in the categories of.
I'm sucking the marrow out of the bones.
Oh, same here. Yeah, everything. I'm
go.
leaving that. Yeah.
How do they leave
No,
so much chicken on
It's
the
offensive.
freaking wing?
Well, they were raised poorly.
You can resell that wing.
All flats.
All flats.
All flats. That's
Yeah.
the way to go.
They're more meat on the flats.
Exactly.
They
Okay,
cook
so
more evenly.
I would say I made a fantastic decision last night.
Yeah.
How was your decision?
Less fantastic. Let's just put it like that. We'll get into it because let me just put it to you this way.
Okay.
You guys are all lucky that I'm here. There was a moment that I thought it was the end
Wasn't
was
gonna
close,
happen?
and it was a bad decision. Occasionally, we all make this is part of being alive, that you live and you learn. You make a decision and you say, you know what, I'm not going to do that again. Today or yesterday, I had one of those decisions. It was a long day that kind of got away from me at the end of the day, and we'll get into that in just a little bit.
And Ask Ireland.
Ask
at
Ireland.
That's right.
10:45.
Do we know if it's in person or not? Or are we
We
still
do not
waiting to
know
see?
whether or not it'll be in person or on the
Okay.
phone, but he will be here to answer all of your Ask Ireland questions.
Yeah,
All right.
send them in.
John Ireland at 10:45. Emily finally caught up with the Golden Bachelor.
Yes.
We'll do that. Jorge, did you watch any more Sopranos?
I did not.
Okay,
Yeah,
so-
I was doing homework.
I can't tell if he likes it or not yet.
No, I do. I know.
Okay.
No, we like it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's a busy man.
I know. I get
Got
that.
homework yesterday.
Yeah.
You know,
Spelling?
His
Math?
his
shapes. You know,
Oh, okay.
shapes and
Okay.
spelling and yeah.
Yeah.
he's not going to watch it tonight either. There's
Oh,
something
yeah.
else.
He's got.
coming
you're
out.
On, you're on a bit
man.
of a heater. Jorge's on a
It's a
heater.
good one coming out. I'm
It
watching
is.
that tonight
Yeah,
too.
It is. We got Ram stuff I want to get into as well. Lakers are already taking notice of the Nuggets, who won't stop chirping. We got a lot to get to. We'll get started next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Are you dealing with a dead battery? If you are, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. They offer free battery services like their free battery testing and free battery charging. Free battery testing will let you know if you need a new battery or not, or if you just need a fresh charge. And if you need a replacement battery, they can hook you up with that as well. It's the only place you can find proven tough Duralast batteries. So the next time you're having battery trouble, head to AutoZone, your battery solution and America's #1 battery destination.
Hey guys, it's producer Lindsay Baseball, and guess what? Thursday Night Football has a brand new home, and it's the 909 Sports Bar at Yamava Resort and Casino. Join me and the 710 Fun and Games Department every Thursday night for a party. I will be giving away $1,000 cash every Thursday night. So this Thursday from 4 to 7 at the 909 Sports Bar, win cash and watch football with me, producer Lindsay Baseball. Or maybe they should call me Lindsay Football. See you there.
The return of Million Dollar Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction, both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 million mega sports station, 710 ESPN.
Carlo from the Fun and Games department just severely judged me for my cinnamon roll fiasco.
Big time.
Like he said, "What do you mean you don't eat cinnamon rolls?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, "I just explained why I don't."
Never
eat them.
seen that.
It's
He
also
actually
better
took
for your
you.
health. I don't know.
He took you off of YouTube.
I sent you guys a picture. What did you guys think of that
They
picture?
turned that camera off. Bye.
They put a picture.
See you later.
They put a picture of Cap on your face. Just, I'm doing the show with somebody
Just
else.
do that thing you guys do where you superimpose Sliwa's face like on the guy going like this.
There you
right?
go.
Like that.
Or like
It just,
AI
we'll have two Sliwas. It'll be the Sliwa and Sliwa show. Right? We can do that.
That's definitely going to happen.
So you guys should be happy that I'm here. Or happy that or unhappy that I'm here. So yesterday, you know that I typically don't eat in the morning.
Yeah.
And that I'll eat my first meal of the day
Later in the day.
when I get home, which is between 2:30 and 3 typically. And then I get after it a little bit.
Yeah, you smash from 2:30 to 8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yep.
And that's kind of so yesterday I had something to do. I went up to Burbank. And I didn't have to put it quite like that. I went up and met up with my old high school baseball coach. What up, Coach Myers, and some of my old teammates, his old players. We had a good time catching up with everybody.
Great.
It's great to see him again, and he was feeling a little under the weather. He's feeling better, so it's wonderful that he's on the road to recovery. But so I shoot up to Burbank after our show. We hang out till about 5:15. I get back on the freeway. I realize I haven't eaten anything all day long. Okay, so it's after 5 o'clock, and I realize, man, I'm hungry. And
Did you forget like you haven't eaten, or because if
So you're
I'm
doing kind of like intermittent fasting, kind of, right?
not on purpose, but
Yeah.
yes,
but
Yeah.
Yes.
5 o'clock and you haven't eaten anything?
Hadn't eaten anything. But
I would be thinking about that for 5 straight hours.
But when
if
I'm
I
in
haven't
here with
eaten
you guys, I'm preoccupied. I'm not
Yeah.
really thinking about it too much. When I was excited to go see my coach, so I wasn't really thinking about it. I sat down and talked for a few hours and wasn't really thinking about it because I was having a good time. And then the second I got in the car to drive home, again, I'm in Burbank. I live in Laguna Niguel.
Yeah.
It's
5 o'clock.
I look at the thing, it's a 2-hour drive home. I'm like, all right, so I need to get something right now. I look around and there's a place. I don't want to say.
Some fast food?
It was just a choice.
Okay.
It was a mistake.
Oh, no.
Because I went in there, I was aggressive. I got
It's like grocery shopping when you're hungry.
I was
you went hard in the hoop.
I was aggressive, and as I'm eating, it's the best thing I've ever eaten in my
Sure.
life. I can't
Salty.
eat it. Salty,
All that.
hot,
Yep.
a little greasy,
Yeah.
just a wonderful,
Fantastic.
I'm in Burbank, heading south. By the time I got to Dodger Stadium, I was ready to end it all.
Oof.
It was like this is not happening. This was the worst food
just
choice
felt-
I've made in a very. I wanted to go to sleep. I wanted to just curl up into a ball.
Yeah.
It was awful. Don't do that.
Well, I kind of in a similar perspective, but I went straight to the bed after I was done eating. If you had that as an option, then I think it would be a little bit different of a story.
If I could have gotten into the back seat and driven from there and laid on my side, I would have done it. It was don't wait all day to eat, A. And number two, when you go, don't pick something out of that category
Yeah.
and go, like, one thing is fine. Multiple items of multiple things is a big mistake.
Yeah,
I
I'm
figured
not-
it's a
I'm not-
long ride. I'll just nibble at
Mix
some
it
things.
up.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. Yes, you get it. Oh, that looks good. Yeah, just throw it in the bag. First of all, when you go to one of those places and you're by yourself, the order should not start with a 2. Okay, that's too much.
Yeah, that's
your,
too much. Yeah.
It's too much by double. It was an embarrassing, disgusting situation, and I'm ashamed of myself.
And then you look at the menu. Add some of the dessert here. Why not chocolate cake? Let's
You
go.
must have been looking because there was the. Would you like to add it? Yes, I would.
Would you like the cheesecake bites? Yeah, sure.
You
why
know what?
not?
That
got
doesn't
that.
sound bad. Throw it in there
Yeah.
too.
What, a cinnamon roll? Sure.
I
Nah.
didn't even do the thing where I pretended it was for other people. I'm like, yeah, we'll put one of those in there too.
She would love that.
Yeah, I'll eat that. I'll eat that. Coke the size of a paint bucket.
Yeah,
It was-
well, that's
it
what
was
probably got you.
ridiculous.
That's what probably got you,
It was
too.
ridiculous. Thursday Night Football has a new home, and it's the 909 Sports Bar at Yamava Resort and Casino. Join producer Lindsay Baseball in the
There you go.
710 Fun and Games department every Thursday night for a party, and Lindsay's giving away cash. She's giving away $1,000
Wow.
tomorrow night, 4 to 7 at the 909 Sports Bar. Win cash and watch football with producer Lindsay. That is at the Yamava Casino.
So last night, I obviously watched a little bit of Golden Bachelor, but before that, I was watching some of the Phillies wildcard game, and that atmosphere was absolutely electric. I think there's nothing that like compares to it, especially they're getting to base and then they're throwing up their ring fingers. It also looks like a middle finger at the same time, so it's the ring finger at the camera. They want to put a ring on it essentially, but I just like that the Phillies are playing with kind of like F you attitude, and the people in Philadelphia are so in on it. Are they the hardest place to play right now?
It was an unbelievable atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like just seeing it on TV, it's a full house. And maybe it was the juxtaposition of what was going on in Tampa,
right?
Earlier in the day. But raucous crowd, full house. Outside, I think is just kind of cool. And the Phillies are really good.
Right.
Like you watch that lineup, you watch the pitching staff that they're able to run out
Got
there.
studs everywhere.
They really do. And it just kind of brought home again the fact that the Dodgers are on the other half of the draw, that Philly or Atlanta, both of them can't come out. You don't have to beat them both. You have to be, Atlanta or Philly has to beat Philly or Atlanta and the other side of the draw. The Dodgers just need to beat the other side of the draw. They're going to get an 84-win team or the Brewers. It's not a bad place to be in because that Philly crowd last night was bananas.
Especially the city of Philadelphia. Their fans are crazy no matter what, but additionally, when it's playoff time.
No doubt.
So I used last year as an example, and I think it is probably one of the toughest ballparks to play in. That fan base is amazing, but when Padres, they had Philly after the Dodgers, and they played 3 games out there. Every one of those games, every pitch, and this is part of just what makes baseball playoffs so special. Every single pitch, I don't think the Philly fans sat down in any of these games. There were, you want to call it.
Let's sit down a little.
You want to call it home field advantage, not whatever you think.
Sit
but that's a real place.
It is, and it's not just that. Like, look. Not that this would ever happen because the ballpark in Arizona is. I told you my mom thought you were sick. Did I mention that to you?
Yeah, you did.
Talking with my mom yesterday, and
because I think you are sick.
So my mom goes, "Is Alan sick?"
Like, tell her no. Tell her he's never felt better.
Mom, Al says he's fine. Say he's got a little cold or something. Like, you look fine, but you got a little frog.
Yeah, just won't get out of here.
Yeah. So what was I talking about?
You were talking
the
about
atmosphere. Phillies.
Oh,
you were talking about 1994.
Stop. Where were you during the try? Not just.
In Arizona, you could have this incredible atmosphere. They never would because it's 80% Dodger fans when the Dodgers go into whatever that place is, Bank One or whatever.
That could be happening starting Saturday.
Absolutely. The Philly fans not only are crazy, and to Emily's point, they're Philly fans, not i.e. Philly fans, Philly with a Y. Philadelphia fans.
Yeah.
They're lunatics, like in the best possible way. They care deeply, but they got a really good team.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if you just have people going crazy for the Marlins. Again, never going to happen. The Diamondbacks, probably never going to happen.
Yep.
But that team with that crowd, with that squad.
Made it to the World Series last year.
They're really good.
So, and I think you mentioned something. Dodgers, what a great draw for them. I mean, the fact that you could potentially be playing the Diamondbacks, even Milwaukee, but Milwaukee's down 1-0 now, so imagine the pressure that's on them. But the fact that you could be playing Arizona in the first round to get to the NLCS, while Philly and Atlanta have to just battle to figure out, obviously what happens from there. You couldn't have asked for a better draw. You couldn't have asked for a better opponent if it happens. I'm not telling you that Arizona or Milwaukee can't beat the Dodgers, but I'm sure you take your chances with that.
It makes it even worse if they don't get out, though. That they have the easier draw. That they don't have to go to Philadelphia quite yet. Well, no, it's even worse if they don't do it.
If they can't get out, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Here's the crazy thing.
Because if I'm making excuses for the Dodgers, I'm not making excuses for the Dodgers against Arizona or Milwaukee. I'm making excuses for, okay, let's say you played Atlanta.
Right.
Even Philly, a very talented team. You got to get out of the first round.
Look, the second seed is the better spot. The second seed in the National League, you get Arizona or Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. The second seed in the American League, you get the Twins or the Blue Jays. The Orioles are sitting around, and they're going to get Tampa or the Texas Rangers. And I know that the Astros won that division, but for the vast majority of the season, the Rangers were the better team.
Yeah.
As weird as it sounds, to me, they seem more dangerous than the Astros do. The Astros are going to get to play the Twins, potentially, who broke a 9 million game losing streak last night.
But shouts out to Taylor Smith.
Yeah, shouts out to
Big
Taylor.
Twin fan.
Yeah.
Twins had great gear on yesterday. But that 2 seed, and I'm sure it's different year to year, but the 2 spot is a much easier spot to come through.
There was, I think you were mentioning it, and you've talked a little bit about this, that you got to get out of the first round. I'm with you on if the Dodgers are not able to get, even with the question marks and how are some of the young players going to do, you couldn't have asked for a better position to be in. You just couldn't. You get the rest. Your guys get to come in ready to go. There is if you want to call it loose, whatever it is, loose, but come Saturday, it's time to deliver.
So with that idea, the looseness, the expectations that come along with where they are right now, here's Dave Roberts.
It would mean a lot. All that everyone's had to go through, and whether you're the favorite, the expectation to realize that, or not the favorite and to ultimately realize that it's special. And it takes a lot of work from a lot of people. Legacy is something a word that I really take a lot of pride in, and that speaks to consistency and quality of work. So I'm proud of that. I understand that the playoff structure is different than when you guys first started covering baseball. And you two really understand that and appreciate that. It's hard to win a championship. And not to say it wasn't 40 years ago, but when 44 teams are getting to the dance versus 16, it's different. It's a lot of hard work. Again, I hope it happens. We're going to do everything we can. I think the experience with some of our guys, the newness of some of our guys, I love this group of men. And so I'm just hoping that we can keep this group together through October.
Okay, that's fascinating to me. There's so much in that. There's so much in that. I like the part about the consistency and the quality. I like the part that it's different now, that it's different to try to run a 16-team tournament as opposed to a 4-team tournament. And I don't like what I'm hearing at all. We're going to come back. We're going to get into it. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. If you get hurt in an accident, you need to call Sweet James. And here's why. You want the best in this situation. You don't want somebody that does it. You don't want somebody that's been doing it. You want somebody that gets consistently unbelievable results. And that's what Sweet James does. It's the megastar of attorneys. Think about all-stars, MVPs. There's a lot of guys in the league, but there's only one MVP. There's only a handful of all-stars, and that's what Sweet James is. People need to be cared for when you need it. And after an accident, that's what you need, and that's what you're going to get at Sweet James. Empathy and compassion and the authority of their business. It's scary. It's disorienting when you've been involved in an accident. Sweet James is going to make sure you get what you're entitled to. He's going to make sure that justice gets taken care of. If you're hurt in an accident and you want to make sure that you have the best on your side, that's the call to Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 800-9-MILLION. 800-900-0000. Don't mess around. Don't wait. Go see the doctor and call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION at sweetjames.com.
The return of Million Dollar Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million Mega Sports Station, 710 ESPN.
710 ESPN.
You know what place might have really great cinnamon rolls? 7-Eleven. All right, so make sure you guys go and celebrate this because Sedano and Cap are celebrating Fuel Up Tuesday with Andrew Whitworth at 7-Eleven. Join them in the city of Covina on Tuesday, October 10th for a live broadcast from 4 to 7 p.m. at the 7-Eleven on the corner of Arrow and Hollenbach. Stop for the chance to meet a Super Bowl champion, Andrew Whitworth, at 4, plus ticket giveaways, free small Slurpees, I love those, and $1 slice pizza and a half-pound hot dogs. Maybe you could put that pizza in your bed. Who knows? Also, by the way, Travis Kelce on his podcast this morning talked about how he put pizza under his bed. So now who's laughing?
You've been validated.
I've been validated. But Sedano and Cap will be live from 7-Eleven in Covina, 1481 West Hollenbach Avenue on Tuesday, October 10th from 4 to 7 from Bud Light and 710 ESPN.
Look, if Travis Kelce does it, I'm more open to the possibility of doing it. I'm going to be eating a lot of salads for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
I gotta hit the reset button along the way. Can
You
I
don't
just
have
clear
to.
something up real
You
quick?
don't have to.
Hooper's X on Twitter just sent this to us in the Travis Lee community. Join the Travis Lee community. I like to
Please.
fire off a few in there as often as I can. I'm trying to do better. I've made a little bit of an effort. Emily, have I improved my effort in that category?
You went from 0 to
Some.
out of 10 to 2.
Okay, I'm going to try to get to a
improvement.
4 soon.
Improvement.
We're trending in the right direction. Hooper's X writes, between never having watched Friday Night Lights and hating cinnamon rolls, Trav is one strike away from being canceled.
That's very interesting in terms of being canceled.
It is. You would think that there would be a more serious. First of all, read the book, saw the movie, just haven't watched the TV show. So I feel like I at least get partial credit.
You have
for
the
Friday Night
primary
Lights.
source text.
Yes, I do.
I did not
don't
know cinnamon rolls were a complete.
I have a problem with the structure of the sentence that I hate cinnamon. I don't hate them. I can't eat them. I got sick from
It's
them.
almost like you wish you could eat them. Not really, but if you had the opportunity, you would have no aversion.
If I could
so
snap
you
my
like
fingers,
so you hate them.
if I could snap my fingers and have it go away, I would. It's not like I feel with cauliflower or something like that. There are very few things in the world I will not eat. That happens to be one of them because I got violently ill. It's not a hate.
Yeah,
it's
take that, Hooper's
I got
X.
sick.
I know,
So
Hooper's X.
I don't like being.
No, I'm with
say I
Hooper's
hate-
X.
We're going
on
to cancel
this
you.
one.
We're going to block that
I
fool.
know you. Are.
I'm with Hooper's. I'll add him back on.
All right, so Dave was on a podcast called The Show, Joel Sherman and John Heyman from the New York Post. John Heyman, FYI, one of the funnier guys you're ever going to run into. Just letting you know that.
Good follow in X too.
Yeah. Really? X?
I'm just trying to be the
X?
producer and being most accurate. That's what they
X?
want to be called.
Yeah, they can want. Okay, so if I just said I want to be called, I don't know, Pierre, we're going to start
And I
calling
would
you Pierre.
respect
I'll
the
call you
name that you
Pierre.
chose for yourself.
I like Pierre. That's a good one.
What up,
Your
Pete?
chosen name.
Pierre and
All right.
Sliwa.
Then
Well,
I'm Pierre moving forward. You
10-8
can't,
Pierre.
you can't change it.
They
At
should
some
lock out
point,
like that. Coming back 7-10.
Pierre and
Pierre
Slee.
Sliwa.
P and Slee.
But Dave was
Beardsley.
on with John and Joel, and he talked about. So they asked him a question about how does he deal with expectations. Their team comes in with expectations and favored every year, and what would a championship mean for this Dodger team?
It would mean a lot. All that everyone's had to go through, and whether you're the favorite, the expectation to realize that, or not the favorite, and to ultimately realize that it's special. And it takes a lot of work from a lot of people. Legacy is something a word that I really take a lot of pride in, and that speaks to consistency and quality of work. So I'm proud of that. I understand that the playoff structure is different than when you guys first started covering baseball. And you two really understand that and appreciate that. It's hard to win a championship. And not to say it wasn't 40 years ago, but when 44 teams are getting to the dance versus 16, it's different. It's a lot of hard work. Again, I hope it happens. We're going to do everything we can. I think the experience with some of our guys, the newness of some of our guys, I love this group of men. And so I'm just hoping that we can keep this group together through October.
All right, so that's Dave Roberts. And there's a whole bunch in there. I kind of just want to go in the order that he said it. The consistency and quality of play. He's right. That they've put together this team that has been, despite all of the things that have gone wrong, and we've talked about, starting with Gavin Lux, right up to Julio Urias getting sent away, and everything that happened in between, right? A bunch of stuff. Still managed to win 100 games. They did have a lot of adversity. They did go through a bunch of things. It doesn't matter come Saturday, right? This whole idea that we know it's consistency and it's quality of play. It is, but the way that you played over 6 months doesn't have a whole lot to do with what happens on Saturday. It's how you play on Saturday. And the rules are changed. It's not fair. It's not unfair. It's just different, right? And this constant going back to, well, it's different, right? It's not the way that it used to be. It used to be, I get it. Winning a tournament with 4 teams is much easier than winning a tournament with 16 teams. You just have to go through more opponents. I understand.
It's harder to get in.
It's easier to get in,
Because
but it's harder
6
to
get
run
in.
the table, right? It's much harder to go through 3 series than it would be 2. Or if you're coming out of the wild card, you got to go through 4 series. It's just it's difficult. I understand that. Why does it never break their way? Like this is another one of these things that it's just like, I understand everything he's saying is true, but I don't like, before it's even started, this idea of, hey, don't forget how hard it is to go through 16 teams. Don't forget how good we were over 6 months. Don't forget how different it is now than it was 40 years ago. I understand. It's all true. Let's take care of business. One time I would like to see this thing break their way over the course of 162 games.
I think there's some setups in there that I don't know if what you want to hear from him, but I'll take what I took from it. If you want to hear from him, look, it's tough to get through the tournament, but go look at our team. Look what we just accomplished. We just won 100 games. We feel great about the position that we're in, and we'll take our chances versus anybody else that's out there. Instead, it kind of reminds me a little bit of last year when I think it was Andrew Friedman that had said something to the effect of, really appreciate what we've accomplished in the regular season. They almost felt like they were setting up anything can happen in the playoffs. I don't think anybody's questioning that, but I don't understand why they bring it up. Like, I don't understand.
You're so right. That's an argument for an outsider to make.
What's the purpose to even set that up? I think
don't forget how hard it is. Yeah, we know.
To simplify it, Dave Roberts can simplify it. Listen, anyone can win in the postseason. We know that. We've watched it. It's happened to us. We feel really, really good about our chances and who we have. And whatever the setup is, whatever the tournament looks like, it doesn't matter to us. We got the squad that we need, and we're ready to go do. It's not, and maybe I'm not telling you got to give a rah-rah speech, but there is a little bit of caution.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
We know that there's a stoplight coming. Like, we got it. We understand that. Yeah, but it could turn red at any time. We got that. It's there's a process to it.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of that.
Well, and look, 2 home teams lost yesterday. Tampa lost and Milwaukee lost, right?
Home is a strong word for the Rays.
Well, fair enough. Good point. They
neutral field.
They need to go through the convalescent hospitals or retirement communities in the greater St. Pete area and round up some folks and bring them in.
But regardless, they did play on their home field.
Yeah, look, they had, 16,000 people yesterday? 19,000?
Hats are nice, though, right?
What's that?
Hats are nice, though.
They got great lids. I like their gear. I don't know if it's just I like a little more of that retro feel. I thought they were pretty cool. The pressure on Tampa today is enormous. The pressure on the Milwaukee Brewers today is enormous. Not only because it's best of 3 and now it's a must win, but you have this series at home. You have all 3 games in your own ballpark. You're supposed to take care of business. I just want to kind of put this in there. I hope it doesn't go like this. And I'm not even going to talk about a disaster. What do you think the vibe in Dodger Stadium is? Whether it's Bobby Miller, whether it's Clayton Kershaw, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Top of the first inning, say it's Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona scores a run or 2. They don't score 6. They score a run or 2, right? It's the top of the. What do you think the energy in that building is going to be like? What do you think the energy in that dugout is going to be like? It's going to be it's not happening again, is it? Yeah. It's not going to happen again, is it?
It's almost like the Chargers in that way, where we're doing this again, and we're going to lose the same way again.
And you said it a couple of times, Slee. If the opposite, Dodgers win game 1, and it's easy breezy, or it's 6-2, and they win the game, and then they win the next game, and then they win the series in 3 or 4 games, right? And it's like, hey, we're playing well.
The looser they get, the more dangerous they'll be.
Absolutely. And now you got a longer series coming up in the NLCS. You got a little bit more runway and that pressure and you're playing a team that is just as good as you are. You're not playing a team that you're not a 111-win team playing against another team that you beat 15 out of 19 times.
Sure.
Especially if it's Diamondbacks in your division that you've also beat so badly before.
Absolutely. Look, they went 5-1 against Milwaukee, too. They've beaten Milwaukee soundly this year. There is no...
the setup is... You can't ask for a better setup.
Consistent is quality player. Yeah. Hey, 16 is hard for... I get it. But can we just blast somebody? Can we just
Sure.
hammer through a series?
Just treat them how you should treat them.
Yes,
As the big bad Dodgers.
There's a little bit of this. It shouldn't matter. We're not going to make any excuses, but there's some excuses in there. They're just enough to where it's. Is that necessary?
I do. If they get off to a good start, I really do think they cruise. I don't want to say cruise through the rest of the way, but I think they got a really good chance to win the World Series if they can beat Arizona or Milwaukee. I think that they're going to hang, because when you can let it hang out against the Braves, let's go. If you can let it hang out against the Phillies, let's go. Whoever comes out of the American League, we're not supposed to be here anyway. Look what we got. Then you get it, but not in the first round. It's not there. That pressure from a year ago, 111,
building
it's
that momentum out.
Slightly less, but it's not a ton less. Yeah. I just saw him walk by. Ireland is in the building. Little in-person Ask Ireland.
Quick question. Did you, maybe I'll wait on this. See the Marlins guy yesterday?
Oh, my God, I can't stand that
Marlins
guy.
Man, yep.
Okay, does somebody want to explain to me why he wasn't at the Marlins game? I'm going to hallucinate when I see that guy.
You know why. Just give it a half a second of thought. You know why.
Because of what we're doing right now.
He's not a Marlins fan. He's an attention fan.
Yeah, but is this that attention, that the fact that he was not at the Marlins game?
You, me, and many, many others are like, that guy again?
I'm like, that guy again, and at the same time, in the upper right-hand corner, it's showing the Marlins versus the Phillies. I'm like, you idiot, get to Philly.
They probably wouldn't sell him that seat in Philly.
I can't do it.
Somebody else probably had it. Yeah, no. It's... The guy's like a dentist or like a lawyer or something. He just like, can you come on, man?
He wasn't at his own team's game.
He's
this
not
is
a
the
fan
one
of the
time.
teams, Lee. He's a fan of himself, whatever his name is.
Okay, then wear a
Pierre.
Syracuse
Let's
jersey.
call him Pierre.
Wear a Syracuse jersey.
No, but it's his brand. He's Marlins Man. That's his brand. He wears the Marlins. By the way, that jersey does pop behind home plate.
That's what I'm saying.
He's hard to miss.
If you're not going to go to your own team's playoff game.
Ask Ireland coming up next. Trav and Pierre, or it's Pierre and Slee, whatever it is. We'll be back in a second. 7:10. Vehicle due for service. If it is, head into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. For over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you and me, which means you don't have to get out of the car. You don't have to drag your kids into that dirty waiting room. At Valvoline, you stay in your car. You stay in your car safe. You stay in your car relaxed. Chill out. Listen to some music. Listen to a pod. Close your eyes for a minute. Just decompress while the expert technicians make sure that your ride is at its best. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. There are over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride on the road in no time. So visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
is Travis and Sliwa. It's time, like we do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10:45. Ask Slee, and Ask Slee is presented by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal, voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Let's get to it. Ask Slee right now.
All right. Way ahead of our usual crosstalk time, about 2.5 hours there, 2 hours and 5 minutes ahead of our
He
crosstalk.
was
Yes.
so excited.
John Ireland.
So excited for Ask Ireland. He
That
came
I had to
person.
come in and do an in-person.
Came in person.
All right. You ready, John?
Sure.
What is the correct distance for a gimme putt? That's from G-Fish.
Okay, this G-Fish is a good question. Shout out to my friend Bob Davis, who puts together a Pebble Beach trip every year.
Okay.
I can't tell you the name of the group because it's obscene, but it's funny. What we do is we measure the length of the guy who has the largest leather, so like Worthy,
Okay.
because he's tall,
Yeah.
has like the largest leather, and we
Okay.
put a piece of tape on the putter. Inside the leather is good. Anything outside the leather, you have to putt. That eliminates all conversations about whether or not it's a gimme.
Okay. So it's an automatic gimme because what if you and I are playing?
Yeah.
And I missed a couple of 2-footers early.
Yeah.
You gonna make me putt it even if it's inside
Is
the
it
leather?
inside the leather? Yeah, you're
it's
good.
good.
You're
All
good.
right. I need
Yeah.
to play with you guys more often.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and I think that's 36 inches. Am I
Sounds about right.
Yeah, something like that.
It sounds about.
Maybe no. No,
You're going to
because-
want to make me putt
No, the
those.
whole putter. No, the whole putter's that long, so it's shorter than that. It's probably
24?
Yeah, maybe,
Okay.
maybe less.
All right. So what do you got?
This is from Chrissy. I don't know if you heard his story. Trav cannot have a cinnamon roll
Yeah, I heard part of it.
because
Yeah,
when he
you had
was
a bad
11,
experience.
had
Oh, boy.
food poisoning. So Chrissy is asking, have you ever eaten anything, got food poisoning like Travis, and have not been able to eat it later in your life?
All right, so not eat but drink. My 21st birthday,
Okay.
July 15th, 1984. My fraternity brothers took me to San Francisco and made me do shots of Meyer's rum until I couldn't do it anymore. And ever since that day, if I smell Meyer's rum, I'm out. Can't drink it.
Liquor's a good one.
I've never had
Yeah.
another sip of Meyer's rum since that day.
Once it happens, that's it.
I had an evening with the great old high-class Goldschlager.
Yeah, that stuff's nasty.
And since
That's
that,
cinnamon flavored too.
since that 21-year-old moment, I've not gone
I got a
back to
feeling,
the
Emily, now
Goldschlager.
it's more people your age do Fireball, right? Until you can't drink it
cinnamon
anymore.
whiskey.
Yeah, I've had a bad experience with Fireball, and I
Right.
no longer drink.
Yeah, I know
Fireball.
that's at a lot of parties I go to.
Fireball's
Somebody
a-
breaks out the Fireball.
By the way, I think I have an answer on the chili pot. We need to circle
Oh,
back
good.
on that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we'll get to we'll do it during crosstalk.
Okay.
We'll save it for then. Em, what do you got?
All right, so we got Kat from Whittier. He says one has to go, and it's playing golf, calling Laker games, or first class flights.
Ooh, those are
I'm
pretty
not
good
giving
ones.
up golf for the Laker game, so I'll go to
Okay.
coach. I'm actually I'm pretty easy traveler. I can sit. There was when I was traveling with the UCLA football team for about 3 years. Our announcer, the late great Chris Roberts, who was a great
Sure.
guy. Chris was a big guy.
Yeah.
And Mark Dellins, our SID, was
Also a
big
big guy. Yeah.
And one day, our engineer for the flight goes, "I can't sit in my seat." I go, "Why?" He goes, "I'm in between Mark and Chris, and I'm claustrophobic. I can't do it." I go, "I'll sit there." He's like, "No, you don't want this. You don't understand." I go, "No, I do. I folded my arms, I put my earbuds in, and went to sleep."
No kidding.
Yeah, woke up, an hour later. That's
a good traveler right there.
By the way, if there's a baby that's going hysterical and everyone's going crazy,
You'll sit next to it?
Yeah, bring me in.
Do you try to soothe the baby? Do you
Matter of
hold
fact,
it and
I'll put
rock it
this out
back
there,
and
too.
forth?
If you see me on a flight and you want to sit next to your friend or your wife or your
Switch
husband
with you.
and you want somebody to switch seats and nobody will do it, ask me, I'll do it.
You'll do the middle seat and coach.
I'll do anything.
You're a much better guy than I thought.
Yeah. Like my family loves traveling with me because I say, "What do you want, the aisle or the window?" Because Lisa is getting one and Jack's getting the other, and I'm going in the middle.
Oh, the hard pass on the middle. Jorge.
All right, man. So this one's from Christopher Holmes. The Olympic Committee is letting you create a new event that you can compete in. It could be anything. What event would it be? And and this event would give you a better chance of winning gold. What would it be?
Okay. So
You're very competitive. I'll tell you that. I'll
Yes.
tell you guys that much.
I think the only chance, Trav, that I would have at winning an Olympic gold medal, and it would be a long shot, but Travis and I could both possibly medal, is closest to the pin, par 3, Olympic sport. Do you think at least
got a
we
shot.
got a shot?
Got a shot.
Like anything else,
Yeah.
no shot.
No, I got
that. Like 160-yard
Yeah.
par 3.
There's a chance I could hit a 7-iron to 2 feet.
Right.
It could happen.
It would be that.
Yeah, maybe a 6-iron from 160.
Yeah,
might
I
have to
probably
club
wouldn't
up.
medal Jorge, but I would. That's what I would ask for.
Beer chugging.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I would
That-
actually bet on you.
I would take that as an opportunity right there. All
I
right,
do flip cup. I'm very good at flip cup.
My
I
wife's very
rarely
good
lose it.
at quarters.
quarters.
Quarters is good.
That was all right.
It's tough, but
Did you ever have somebody in your group that would roll it off their nose?
She can still do it to this
She
day.
can roll it off her nose?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very specific. She must have the proper angle
Yeah.
on her nose.
That
to get
and
the
a lot of
bounce.
experience.
I was gonna say it
Yeah.
sounds like a proud Aztec.
Have you ever
alum
seen that
there.
one, Sleet? Where
Yeah.
you just right off the
Yeah.
nose, bink, in.
Yeah.
Anthony Gaeta, excluding the Laker gig, what is the best play-by-play job in all of sports?
I think. All right, I'm going to put it this way. I have a lot of friends who work at Amazon Sports. The new Thursday night Amazon football package, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, is like an all-star team. You only see Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit and Kaylee Hartung, but my buddies, Jared Stacy and Mike Miriano, who I used to work with at KCAL, who have built the department for Thursday Night Football at Amazon. I was talking to Jared the other day, and he was marveling at the fact at how much fun they're having. That they have, obviously they have an unlimited budget. They have
Literally unlimited.
It's once a week.
yeah, and that's what I was getting at. And so Jared says that after they do these games, they're closing down bars at 2:30 in the morning because they had so much fun. And he says that everybody gets along great. It's got a young, vibrant, fun vibe. Emily hit the nail on the head. It is one day a week. Al flies in on Wednesday.
Wow.
He flies home after the game, and he's done.
As great
That's the one.
As big of a baseball fan as I am, baseball play-by-play has to be just an ass kicker. You got a game every night for basically 7 months.
Right.
know where I thought
and
you
you
were
have to
gonna
stay
go?
in a city for. You have to stay in Cincinnati for 4 days. At least if I get sent to a bad city, I'm
You're
in and out.
I
Yeah.
thought he was gonna go one of the golf majors. I thought you were gonna go Masters or something.
But
along
see,
those
none
lines.
of those guys that do those tournaments work just one event. Al's doing just Thursday Night Football. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no.
Alan
Jim Nance
Kirk.
does 20 golf tournaments a year, and NFL football, college
And
basketball.
What about
everything.
tennis?
Same thing. Nobody.
But it's a cool place. You always go to very cool events. And
yeah, but
it's very
nobody
cute.
does just Wimbledon or just the U.S.
Yeah,
Open.
you're
Like
right.
Chris Fowler, who's the lead tennis guy at ESPN, does all
Does
4
everything.
majors,
Yeah,
and
does
he
everything.
does college football. And Chris is like me; he's always on a plane.
He's doing the NFL this year too. He's done
Right.
some Monday night games.
Al's getting on a plane. Al and Kirk are getting on a plane one day a week, and they're flying home after the game, and then
Al's got a
they're
good
off
gig.
for 6 days.
All right, one more here, John. It's from Capitano Matt. My youngest is turning 20 years old today. What would you tell your younger self?
It's a great question. Happy birthday to his son. What I would tell, the best piece of advice, so I'm guessing he's 20, so he's still in school.
Probably.
Okay, the best piece of advice anyone has ever given me, I've said it many times on Mason and Ireland, don't let school interfere with your
He
education.
said it yesterday.
Yeah. You are going to have opportunities at that age, at 19, 20, 21 years old, to do things
Take 'em.
and go to places that you're not going to have that opportunity to do once you have a steady job. Like this weekend, I would love to go see Sting at the Hollywood Bowl. I would love to go, Trav. I'm guessing you're going to try and get to Dodger Stadium on Saturday
I
night.
plan on being there.
I will be calling Lakers Warriors. It's a good job I love, but
right.
it's a meaningless preseason game on Saturday. You don't once you get into the real world, you don't have control over your life anymore.
Very few of us make our own schedules.
Correct.
Once you get into
when
the real
you are
world.
that age, when you are 20, take every opportunity
That's
to
good advice.
live life. If you get a B- on a test,
Who cares?
it is not the end of the world. So that's what I would say. At that age, don't let school interfere with your education.
All right, I have one from Emily in LA Live. So, when did you know that Lisa was the one?
Very early.
After the basketball game.
Yeah, that she was off to a good start with the basketball game, but I had to go. I knew whoever I married, Emily, was going to have to put up with a ridiculous schedule, and that I was going to several times in her life come home one day and go, "I got a job in another city. We're leaving," and I had to go. I was working for UCLA back then. And I was in San Diego, and I had to go MC a fundraiser. Terry Donahue was there, and Terry and I had to go do 45 minutes of kibitzing to get some money out of some UCLA donors and to talk about it. And I just started dating Lisa, and I invited her, and I watched the way she handled herself at this party where she didn't know anybody, and I dragged her in from the outside, and she was great, and then I knew. So I would say probably, and that was probably 3-4 months into dating her, and then it was up to me to just not screw it up, which I was
so
afraid
far, so good.
I would do. Yeah, it's not over, but we've been together 33 years, so that's
pretty good.
But that's when I knew. When I knew that she could put up with all of the ridiculous things I was going to ask her to put. Like you've moved Susan out of state at least once.
Once.
Right? Yeah.
Once. But this was.
Did you take the kids when you moved to Texas?
We did.
Yeah.
We did because quite honestly, I didn't know when I was coming back.
Right.
We thought
Or
we were
if.
going to be there right? We were there for 11 months. Like in retrospect, probably would have left everybody here and I could commute. But that was an interesting conversation. It wasn't the best day of our
Where?
marriage.
Going to Houston.
Yeah. What's the temperature?
Yeah, it wasn't Seattle or San Francisco or Miami. It was Houston.
All right, so you guys know me now. I weighed myself today. I weigh 183 pounds. When I went to Texas, I weighed roughly 180. When I left, I was at 154. And I didn't get sick. I didn't.
Just the heat melted it off.
Every day I would go out and play golf, Trav, and I'd lose 6 pounds. And then I was
maybe
eating.
I should move back.
I was eating too. and like when I got back on, my friends go, "Are you sick? Did something happen to you?" And like within 6 months, I was back up to 170.
Yeah, no.
No, it's like humid every day.
It is so hot in Texas that the weight just drops off.
I had the opposite experience.
You got fatter?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, beer,
believe it or
probably.
not.
Yeah.
And I was by myself for a
Yeah.
good chunk of it. So you're eating like crap. You're drinking like crap.
Yeah.
Mind
Good
over
job,
matter. You did it, Trav.
Muscle.
You did
when
it.
you set your mind to
All right.
something, Sliwa, anything is possible.
I will be back at 12:55 to hear
you
the
go.
story of the chili pot.
It's a good theory.
Just tell me if my theory was in the ballpark.
Yes.
That one of your kids would at least know what happened to the pot. Because Susan did not know, right?
She did not know, and I have still not seen the kids and had a chance to break this down. But I got the same theory from multiple people on Twitter, so I think that's
Okay.
And it
Don't say
tracks
what it is.
with my children.
Okay.
So we'll do
All right,
that.
We'll
That's
do it.
good.
We'll do it 12:55. All right,
Good
have a
job.
Thank you,
John.
John.
See
All
ya.
right. Emily saw the Golden Bachelor finally, and just what she was telling me this morning.
She said she cried multiple times.
Yeah.
telling
Not
me
just
about
one
it.
time.
Telling me about it. That's next. Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Steve Mason. Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
So I think I have a working theory as to what happened to the pot. So
Okay.
we'll do that during Super Crosstalk because John's like 30% right.
Okay.
But the remaining 70% is still a mystery.
And it's a great day for both of you with the Beverly Hills 90210's anniversary. And I
that's
will have
right.
the very difficult trivia to ask you guys in Super Crosstalk as well.
Okay.
So just be ready for that as well.
I need to know if John watched after they graduated from college because once they went into the air quote real world, I was out.
That's your weak spot.
It became ridiculous. Like she became a fashion designer and he was a newspaper editor.
And it wasn't ridiculous beforehand?
Emily, just stop bringing logic to an illogical situation.
So I did not know this, that the Miami Marlins guy years ago cut ties with the team. Cut ties because...
Can I tell you something real quick? Can you not tell me any more about that guy?
He will not be paying for tickets for team games first time in 25 years.
Let's see it. Let's see a report that's less than 5 years old and see if he's still around.
That guy can... I'm good with Marlins guy.
I don't know why I was so mad to see him.
It's annoying. It's an obvious troll job that works. That's the worst one. It's like, it's one thing if you're trolling everybody, and I can still ignore it, I'm not even going to do it. But it did. It bothered me, too. I agree with you. Come in to the studio later today, and Emily goes, finally caught up with the Golden Bachelor. And I said to her, how was it? And then you said you cried multiple times.
Yes.
And then I said, well, what was it about it that made you so emotional? And as you started to tell me about it, I could see that it started to hit you again.
It knew what it was doing. It knew what it was doing. It got me. So, like, my parents are in the same age range that could be available for this show. So, you know, I when I see people, especially being so vulnerable like that, I think of my parents and think about what they're going through and, like, where they are in their life, and then I'm not around them. And that always, you know, makes me a little sad.
Of course.
But, so the main guy, Gary, this is how they start off the show. So, Gary has been, he was married to his high school sweetheart for, I want to say, like 40-something years. It was a very long time that he was with his high school sweetheart, and they had a dream of getting this lake house in Indiana. Like, that was their whole dream, was to get this very nice lake house. They finally bought this dream house. They both retired, and it was June 6th, I want to say, in like 2017. So they both retired in June, and they wanted the plan to live the rest of their lives at this lovely lake house. And
it's a lovely life.
Yes. Then his wife ends up coming down with an infection. Infection spreads to her kidneys.
Jeez.
And she passes away a month later. Man. Takes her to the hospital like in a month, and she never leaves that hospital.
I'm not about to cry, but that sucks. That's a bad deal.
It's awful. So sad because, you know, you have that dream of what your life can be. You finally get to this point where you're like, we have what we've dreamed about. We have our lovely children, our grandchildren, and we can just rest easy in this place.
You've run the hardest part of the race.
Yes.
And now you get to enjoy the last part of the race, and then that happens.
That's taken away from you.
I would do anything for Gary. After he told that story, he's crying. He has his kids around him. He's like, my girls, my grandkids are the only things like get me through it all. So I want nothing but love for him. I want him to be loved so well by someone new, and so I'm fully on board. That's
crying number
one.
All
right, that's
crying
reason
number one.
To be emotional.
That's terribly sad.
Absolutely.
And that's the very first open. Like, you're already sad. So then you see Gary be personable. He's a nice guy. He talks to people. He's really nice to be around, it seems. And so then there's a woman that comes out of so basic structure of Bachelor, if no one's ever seen it before. Opening night, they come in on a limo, they come out, they do like a little entrance, and they try to make an impression on the Bachelor or Bachelorette at the time. So limo rides up, and this woman comes out of the car. She's very beautiful, comes out, and she points to the sky, and she's like, "This is for you," and like someone's name. And
are all these people widows and widowers?
A lot of them are, because they're older. Either that or they've been divorced, and so almost everyone has been in a marriage of some point at some time. So she points to the sky, says, "This one's for you," and I can't remember her name right now, and I'm sorry about that. So then he's like, "Oh, who's that person?" And she's like, "Well, it's my friend that I used to watch Bachelor with every week, and she has cancer, and I'm doing this for her." And then fast forward to the end of the episode, that person died in the time in which between that filming and when this came out, and then I lost
run home
it.
And watch it real quick, Slee.
This is like remarkably depressing.
It's both depressing and incredibly wholesome, because you get to see these people interact in a different way than like someone my age interacts with someone that you're interested in. You know, it doesn't seem like these, like, at least Gary doesn't seem like he's in it to get fame. He's 72. Like, who cares about being an influencer at 72? He wants to find someone he wants to spend the rest of his life with.
It's more emotional and less horny.
Yes.
Okay.
Very accurate.
Yeah.
And so it's very sweet. He goes and interacts with everybody.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know that.
His ears went, whoa.
Yeah, I didn't know that was coming out.
He's like, dump.
But I'm all in.
That quote just in itself is like less emotional, or no, more emotional, less horny. It's like
it revitalized the franchise to me.
ESPN.
And there's another show that came on right after. You know how Hulu will suggest the next episode, and that shows the opposite. It's less loving and more that word. I'm not going to say that, but
It's not a bad word.
I just don't want to say it. But that's what followed. But I'm all in. I want Gary to find love so much, and also. Jimmy Kimmel's aunt was on
Chippy.
it. Chippy was on it. She stole the show. She was so funny. Obviously, I don't think she was really there to find love. She just wanted to see Gary, but she was great.
What she sound like, ma'am?
The
Not
dead
Disney.
friend, the wife who died suddenly and unexpectedly. Those are two cries.
I can't remember the
What are
other two. I was just in a state.
Reflecting. She
Well, I was
reflected
just-
back, and there was the third cry.
I think it was more about someone had mentioned something about just wanting to be loved and just wanting to have some. Anyway, I'm a softie. I am too soft for all of this.
No, you're
I'll
not.
Cry at any moment.
Those were heavy stories.
Here's why I don't like that. I'm predisposed to hate those sorts of programs. Like just the whole concept of them are just not my cup of tea.
Will those bring you in?
That's
kind
not
of
going to bring
storyline?
me in, but like Emily said,
Sympathetic.
it would be so hard not to be rooting for that guy.
Yes,
course.
it's less fake than it seems like in other
Yeah.
versions of the same thing.
Yeah, some guy that had the love of his life that he met early in his life. They
Right.
went through all of the stuff that, if you're lucky enough to go through, to have a family, to have somebody that you love for a long period of time, that you remain in love with, to have careers and the ups and downs that come along with all of that, you finally get to the part like, you know what? Let's go enjoy whatever time we have left together. Let's go enjoy it. And bam, you don't get to.
Okay,
That's
also
awful.
There's this one of the contestants. Her name is Leslie. So she's a dancer from Minneapolis. She also does, she does like workout classes and stuff. She's like 64. She dated Prince, and he wrote a song about her.
Oh,
So
do we know the song?
It's like something dancer, beautiful
impressive.
dancer.
Jorge, get to work.
Beautiful dancer, I think is what it's called. I don't know the Prince's discography super well.
Okay.
But she's the girl that we both pointed out that
By the way,
was good looking.
if Prince, that was her?
Was her?
Oh, yeah, for sure it was her, right? So she showed me a picture of all of the
You guys both picked the
contestants.
same.
She said to me, which one? I said, her. And she picked the same
You guys
one.
both picked the same one.
Look, if Prince said...
Oh, sexy dancer, that's what it
sexy
is.
dance. If Prince said, not only I choose to be with her, but I'm going to write a song about her, that's the one.
Then there's something there.
That's the one.
Then there's
or maybe
something
Gary? Is it Gary? I don't know. Whatever Bachelor guy's name is, maybe he's got a little different preferences than Prince does, but who knows? Who knows? $1 Million Mondays is back on 710 thanks to Hollywood Park Casino. Listen every Monday during the season for your chance to win. All you have to do is give us your Super Bowl prediction, both teams in the final score, and you can win $1 million. And just for playing, you'll get 2 tickets to a game at SoFi Stadium. $1 Million Mondays on 710 ESPN, presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, and play. Em, should I take this call? No? Okay.
He was calling about the Mariners. He called the wrong 710, so...
I just saw Bachelor go up on my screen for half a second. I'm like, I want to see if there's anything else that's going to make me
That's pretty
misty.
funny. There's in Seattle there's a 710
It's
ESPN.
not. It's the second time in 2 days
Yeah.
that people have been calling in to get that 710. So sorry to disappoint.
Tell them that I'll talk about Julio Rodriguez if they want to. They can put me on.
He wanted to talk about the press conference, so I don't know if we're
no,
covering
I
that.
don't know about that. Speaking of press conferences, did you see the Angels have theirs yesterday?
Yeah.
City? That was illuminating. Like, listening to Perry Manassian, who's their GM, and he was the one that was talking yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I don't think he's bad at his job. I think he's pretty good at his job.
Yeah,
quite
you've
frankly.
said that a few times.
I think he is being asked to do something that is virtually impossible to do, which is put together a winning team with the ownership that they have. It's just I don't think those two things go together. Phil Nevin got sacked. They're going to hire their 5th manager since 2018 for this upcoming season.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they've been going through a manager a year, give or take, since Mike Scioscia's last season. They had Scioscia, they had Brad Ausmus, they had Joe Madden, they had Phil Nevin, and now they're going to have a new guy. He was talking about how the question was asked, well, do you have a short list? No. Do you have a list of characteristics that you're looking for in your next manager? No. Well, why'd you fire him? He didn't win enough. Okay. Well, it's a job that Perry Manassian was saying, it's a job that I think that people will relish the opportunity to have it. Why? I get it. There's only 30 of these. Somebody's going to take it, and somebody will be happy to get it. I understand that. But this isn't a good job. It hasn't been a good job for a long time. It's a job that comes with ownership that's far too involved and has proven that they don't know what they're doing when it comes to making baseball decisions. Why is that a job that people would relish? It's just not true.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would be the worst job in baseball. Worst job as in of all the, you could be the manager of any team, and where would the Angels rank on that list? If you're a manager, what are you looking for? Are you looking for, you want a team that you feel like, okay, there's some structure. You want the ability to do your job. You want the ability to make decisions when you feel like you need to make decisions. You want the ability to make sure that you have a farm system that you feel like is cropping players. The investment is there from the ownership. Angels don't check the box on any of those.
No.
No. I don't think people are sitting back. I don't think there's Angel fans sitting back and saying, if we just get rid of Phil Nevin, this whole thing can just turn around.
Phil Nevin.
Nobody's saying that.
I watched a lot of Angels baseball this year. There was maybe one or two times I went, what's Phil Nevin doing? Other than that, Phil Nevin did a fine job. If 2 times in 162 games or whatever it is, that's not a bad batting average at all. That's not all those checklists you're talking about, Al. If the ownership changes, those checklists turns to, the thumbs up.
Sure.
Because it's in Southern California. It has a good, lucrative television market. It has good players on the roster right now. Believe it or not, they actually have a handful. Neto and Shanuel, I think that's how you say his name, Ohapi. They got some good position players. They're a little top-heavy old. Get rid of that. Flip it for younger guys. Stick with a plan. It could turn
as in the potential
quickly,
is really good.
But at the top of the pyramid, it's rotten, and it's not going to change anytime soon unless he changes his mind again. The NBA is trying to find a way to juice the regular season, and I don't know if it'll do it for everybody else, but it may have done it for the Lakers. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. For all the ones who get it done, Grainger offers high-quality supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facility safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Bachelor, apparently, who dated Prince because she lived in Minneapolis.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's incredibly impressive.
Yeah, it's a big flex.
Yeah, it's a huge flex.
And she's still out moving and grooving and stuff. She looks like she's doing well in her 60s.
I would just be playing this music and have the windows down and say, this song is about me.
I haven't seen the show, so I'm talking out of school here a little bit. But what's the guy's name, man?
Gary.
If I were Gary, once I heard Prince wrote a song about me, I'm like, we're done here, guys. We're done.
Oh, yeah. No, that's it.
You're the champion. You win. We're moving on to whatever else happens after this happens.
Game
after
over.
This, but
Maybe that's not what he's into. He doesn't want to be sloppy seconds.
Jeez, you won't say horny, but you'll say that? What in the world is the
I'm
matter
just
with you?
saying that those two words together.
That was far worse.
I almost dumped.
No, it's not. It's not dumpable.
My God.
Get out of here.
There it goes, Em. There goes our show. Thanks, Em.
saying,
My goodness.
if we're going to say which is worse,
We're canceled.
Put up a poll. Which one's worse?
which one was worse?
We're canceled.
You're not really arguing that yours is less gross.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Ow.
Okay.
The delivery of
It's not me.
not mine.
It's not me.
I think it actually might be our.
Yeah. So, as everybody knows, there's a test of whatever's going on in the world, and
It's
11:20,
happening right now,
There it
and-
is. Wasn't my phone? My
No.
laptop didn't. What else is in here?
Could it be any of these?
Oh,
Could we have
is it
any?
the phones? I wonder
Could
if
be
it's the phones.
these.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
It's
anyway,
Somebody's phone in
apologies.
It's over. What, for saying what you said?
All right, I'm not going to talk the rest of the show, okay?
That's actually why it's. That's there we got.
What is
look,
that?
Look.
It's above you.
These two.
Those
phones.
red
Oh,
ones.
come on.
DeAndre.
DeAndre.
Come on,
Rookie
man.
Yep.
Come on.
So we turn our
Okay.
phones back on.
Greg comes in and says, hey, guys, would you mind turning off your phones today between 11 and 12? It's going to come on.
I mean, first Parker does the whole trips over the trash can.
It's
Now
Carlo
DeAndre.
telling you guys in there, DeAndre. You lose
Come on,
softball
man.
games 48-0 and you trip over trash cans.
Jesus.
The last game, 15 zip, he said.
They're getting better.
ERA went down.
Yeah, their runs per game is going down too. That's
Yeah.
the problem. You can't go through many shutouts.
All right, so today is the anniversary of 90210. So it came out on this day in 1990. Okay, so I'm gonna test your knowledge a little bit, Trav. Okay.
All right.
So I'm gonna say the year, the season, the year,
Okay.
the title,
Okay.
and the first line of the description of the plot.
Okay, I don't even need the name of the title. If you just give me the first line, I'll know the rest of it.
But I want to let everyone else
Okay.
play along. Okay,
All right.
so we're gonna do that. So we're gonna do it's season 3.
Okay.
The title is Too Little, Too Late / Paris 775001.
Okay.
Okay. The
Paris,
first-
like the city?
Yes.
Okay.
First line is Brandon becomes jealous of Andrea's new boyfriend, Jay, who invites her to Houston with him for a Republican convention, while she tries to get Cameron to join on her daycare group outings.
Oh, yeah. So this is during one of the summer episodes where, see, Andrea worked as a counsel. Uh-oh, here we go again. That's in my headset.
Headset. We're back. That's
Well
actually
done,
part of
Jorge.
the test.
Yeah. So that was perfect. Well done.
So is that a new sponsor of ours? Yes.
I want the live reads for that. I'll just go.
What the hell is that? Well, Trav got a live read. It's part of his endorsement plan. He does it
That's Pierre.
3 times.
Yeah, I'm doing my EAS as
He
Pierre.
does it
along
3
the way.
times a show.
By the way, that was a good buzzer.
That was really good.
That was
actually.
kind of
That's
spot
impressive.
on.
Yeah.
Andrea is a camp counselor at the Beverly Hills Beach Club during the summer. the young man that she's with, I forget his name, he's hearing impaired. So she teaches herself sign language. They develop a relationship, and that's kind of the crux of that episode where she develops this relationship with this young boy, and she's worried about going back to Texas with her boyfriend and leaving this kid behind at the beach club, and that's kind of the crux of the episode.
The rest of the description is Dylan's father, Jack, asked to be put to a good word for him at the parole hearing, and Kelly keeps Dylan some company while mending her broken heart over leaving Jake Henson.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Brenda
Jake was the guy from Melrose Place, so they made
Says that.
the appearance from the Melrose Place guy. They put him in with Kelly in 90210 so they could spin him off into Melrose. It was also the beginning of the split between Dylan and Brenda, and then Kelly was the third person into that relationship, the little love triangle, which ultimately led to Dylan's decision.
Damn
between
right
the two
it
women.
did.
And meanwhile, Brenda and Donna arrive in Paris, and they get a less than dazzling welcome to the City of Light after meeting brass students as well as eating at a local restaurant.
They ordered like guts or something on the menu. Like I forget what it was, but they ordered like none of them spoke French, and they were afraid to ask questions in English, so they just pointed at something on the menu, and it was they basically ordered French guts.
That's amazing. He remembers what's on the
crazy.
plate. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
I'm always on brand.
Was Melrose Place right after 90210?
For a while. Yeah.
What channel was it on?
I haven't
Fox.
heard Melrose Place in so long.
Yeah, it was good. Like, so Courtney Thorne-Smith was my favorite. I forget. I don't know that one nearly as well. Heather Locklear was
Heather Locklear was
general
the
favorite.
Yep.
I was more of a Courtney Thorne-Smith. She dealt with Billy, I think his name was his character. There was Jake.
Damn, I'm
There was
looking
the
at
pool guy.
I'm looking at
A lot
the
going on.
images now. That's crazy. I forgot about Melrose Place.
Oh yeah. It wasn't as teen soapy. It was more adult soapy.
Yeah.
And I liked the teen soap better.
Yeah.
But anyway, you were talking about how NBA wants to juice some things. Things might be working that way.
Yes. I would rather talk about Kelly, Brenda, and Dylan. But
Sure, go ahead.
We can do that.
Go talk about that all you want.
No, so Austin Reeves talked about it yesterday. AD talked about it at Media Day when we were out there on Monday. That the Nuggets, I don't know if chirping is the right word, but they just seem to. Michael Malone, I know he likes Michael. Yep. Michael Malone goes on McAfee and just says, I just want to announce that I'm not going to be retiring, right? And it just, obviously, that's a little dig.
There was the broadcaster, the announcer for the Denver Nuggets when they're giving out the during the parade. He had some stuff to say, so there were some things being said.
The Lakers' daddy or something like
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah, and Austin Reeves responded to it like, we heard it. We know that it's directed at us. And whether the Lakers win a title or not is going to depend on whether or not Anthony Davis and LeBron James are healthy when the playoffs start. If they're healthy when the playoffs start, the Lakers got a chance to beat anybody.
Yep.
If they're not, they probably don't. It's probably as simple as all of that.
And everything can go perfect for the Lakers, and they just lose to better teams. There's really good teams in the league.
Sure. But I do like that there's a little bit of, whether it's real or partially manufactured, I don't know if it matters a whole lot, but that the Nuggets, the defending champion, and the Lakers, the most famous franchise in the league, have a little bit of beef, I think is nothing but good news for the regular season of the NBA. I know they only play each other a small handful of times, but those games are going to matter. And the more regular season games we can get to matter, the better.
I think one of the quotes AD had, he was on Spectrum, and this was specifically about the Nuggets. It was just a lot of talking. We get it. Y'all won. But me and Bron had some conversations. We can't wait to play them. Well, they played them in the first game of the year. Now, that's
Ring night, right?
It's ring night. Yep. Yeah. The Denver Nuggets are going to get their first time they put up a banner. They've never done that before. Jokic and Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray all get to sit there. They fit their ring. They get their rings in front of the Los Angeles Lakers, who you swept. I always like these from a storyline perspective. Michael talks about this a lot, that he wishes players talked more freely about predicaments, situations, other teams, players. What he's referring to is add a little drama to it. You're going to play 82 games. Having this as a storyline going into that game against the Nuggets, I think will be interesting. Now, I said this, I remember when it was all happening, I don't mind Denver saying whatever. They won. They won an NBA championship.
Yep.
So you don't like it? Go do something about it. And I think the Lakers, there's a little bit of that mantra of like, okay, we did lose to them. They were better than us. Let's start the season to see what happens.
My old man is going to, my inner old man is going to come out. But there's just something that's more appealing about the regular season when you know that the two guys on the opposite side want to break each other's necks. And I don't mean that like they want to fight, but they want to win those games. When Larry Bird and Magic Johnson played each other those 2 times during the regular season, it mattered.
Sure.
Right? When Michael Jordan would go up against guys, it mattered because Jordan didn't pal around with guys. And I get it. Right now it's different. Everybody's friends. They got the same agent that they're collaborating on which team they're going to go to next. And the guys that don't do that are few and far between. It's like Giannis, it's Jokic. There's just not a lot of guys that don't participate in that. The other way is better. It just because it creates better games during the regular season. Everybody wants to win in the playoffs. Everybody wants to win a title. But these 82 games leading up to it, the more often we can find points of conflict where this guy said that about that guy or this guy insulted that guy, the better, because they just feel like friendlies way too often where we'll play, but we got another one tomorrow night in San Antonio. I got to stay ready for that one too. It's just we're missing that, and we got to get back.
I think something too to keep in mind. It's the first time a lot of these guys have ever been in a deep playoff run. Like we just think of LeBron and Anthony Davis. Austin Reeves has never been in that situation.
True.
Rui never been in that situation. So I think the fact that you got guys that also kind of have a bad taste in their mouth, they get a second crack at it. Jared Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell. There's some players, too, that I think can have a little chip on their shoulder that they just never been in that predicament before.
Look, sports hate is super fun. It's super fun. If everybody gets along and I like that guy too, that's no fun.
It's like boxing. Like those guys are facing off and
Yes.
they're chirping at each other for like a whole week. We get the coverage. That's dope. And then they get in the ring.
Sure.
They fight, and then after the fight they hug each other like, hey, it was
respect.
a good fight. Respect,
Yeah.
exactly.
I get it was rich, but when Mike Tyson's saying, I want to eat his children.
That one was a little too far. Yeah.
That
one was that interview.
Children.
Yep.
It's just, it's amazing.
That one scared me.
Well, it
That
should.
one-
It's coming from Mike Tyson.
That one scared me a little bit.
Mike went to some other places like, Mike, take it easy.
Yep.
But Mike was unpredictable. Mike was somebody that would.
Hey, Mike, we're on live TV. What was that one?
Turn off your station if you don't like it. Yeah. Why do you have to talk like that? F you. It's like, whoa.
Okay, we're done here.
We're done here. Good. If you don't like it, turn off your station.
That's you to me 10 minutes ago.
My brother was in Vegas and he saw Mike in the lobby of a hotel. And he approached him and he's like, hey, Mike, I have a picture. No pictures. I was like, oh, dude.
I don't know if there's anybody that has done a larger 180 than Mike Tyson has. Mike Tyson was the scariest dude around for a really long time, had a lot of stuff in his bag that was not great. Mm-hmm. And now we are, as Mike Tyson is an older man, he's almost universally liked.
Yeah.
He's in The Hangover.
Hangover, exactly.
By the way, that was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Him showing up in The Hangover and realizing that he could be
funny.
Mike Tyson, the exaggerated version, was awesome.
He's also done a lot of long platform podcast interviews where he opens up.
Yep.
And it's like, damn, you get the inner story of Mike Tyson that also
and he's had
takes
tragedy
down the
in his
walls.
life. Like he's had to go through a lot
Sure.
of terrible things that
Sure.
you would never wish on anybody. No, he's come all the way around to the other side from I think everybody was terrified to everybody's got
And then
a positive
those
thing.
training videos that he's put out, like, dude, that guy can still get in the ring.
He's in good shape right now.
Yeah.
He's in really
He's
good
fast.
shape.
He still's got that speed.
And he's
man.
got some little pop in those
Powerful,
hands
yes.
too, for sure.
Yeah.
Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, hey Greg.
Hi.
Thank you for warning us about the the test and everything. We were all prepared, and then DeAndre comes in and screws it up. Come on, DeAndre.
Everybody prepared. I sent an email to Em this morning so she'd be aware. I came in and talked about it with you. So
Well, the sad thing is we didn't even know where it was coming from. Like
I put my hand on my
looking
phone.
up. I'm like, there's something going on here.
I'm sure Em talked to Jorge about it, so he was prepared. You were on top of it, Em.
Damn.
DeAndre, however.
Damn,
the
DeAndre.
Chivato.
Well, why are they
problems.
coming at you like that, DeAndre?
Well,
Hey, we gotta call
Because
him
he
out.
screwed
He's a
it up.
chivato.
That's
Yeah,
why.
he's a chivato.
Yeah, it's not complicated.
This isn't the first time.
Yeah.
But we do love you, DeAndre.
We do.
Do we?
We love
Do we?
Yeah,
After all that?
sometimes.
So today is Dakota Johnson's birthday. So Dakota Johnson was in
I know the name.
50 Shades of Grey movies. So that's
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
where
yeah.
you know her from. But she's been in other movies as well. But my favorite thing that
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah, my favorite thing that Dakota Johnson has ever done was when she went on the Ellen Show and
Oh.
she decided to say something.
Yes.
So I'm going to play a clip. And so this is Dakota Johnson a couple years ago on the Ellen Show.
It's good to see you. Happy belated birthday. When was your birthday?
It was October 4th.
October 4th. You turned 30.
I did.
And how was the party? I wasn't invited.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. You were invited. Last time I was on the show, last year, you gave me a bunch of about not inviting you, but I didn't even know you wanted to be invited.
Well, who
'Cause I
doesn't
didn't
want to
even
be
know you-
invited to a party?
Well, I didn't even know you liked me.
All right, so that is on Ellen
Awkward.
Show, and it's kind of the beginning of people understanding more what Ellen was about.
Yep.
All right, so this is great from Dakota Johnson. Travis, Factor Cap.
Fact. Because Ellen was trying to do the thing where, I'll make it cute, but it's not cute. And she tried it on her once before, and she's like, no, we're not doing this again.
Yeah.
I did invite you.
Actually, Ellen.
Yeah, actually is right. And I did, and you don't want to do it. And by the way, I'm okay that people start to know who you are along the way. I love it. If it were the first time, if it's playful and it's cute. But if you actually invited somebody and they didn't come, they don't get to say, well, you never invite me anywhere anymore.
Right, exactly. Berg?
Yeah, it's fact. I love that from her because also, like, Ellen, what are you doing? You're trying to be funny, like, oh, haha, I'm going to get you on this because I'm going to call you out for not inviting me. You just sound stupid when you're doing that. Like, it was not a good move, and I love that she was
Especially when you have that in your
back pocket.
Yes,
Dakota
you
Johnson,
are a monster.
She was ready for it.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
the way you got to be in the...
And Dakota Johnson doesn't care about if she would, quote unquote, gets blackballed or whatever.
Right.
She's a Nepo baby. She is fine. She knows exactly who
Who's her
she
dad?
is.
Don Johnson.
Yeah, Don Johnson. And
Nash
she has a famous
Bridges.
mom, too.
Nash Bridges.
Yeah.
Wasn't she... Miami
Sonny
Vice?
Crockett.
Yeah, Miami Vice, right?
Or was he Tubbs? I think he was Sonny.
I don't know.
All right, Al, what do you think?
Fact, and I think we're all been in this position before, situation, right? Where somebody might try to call you out on something. It's like, yeah, you don't have
Actually-
all the facts. Yeah, so it's a very easy way to come back. They look stupid. I'm down for it.
Have you,
know
ever
what
worked
else
with
was great?
Steve Mason? He does this all the time.
Well, this was
Love
somebody
you, Steve.
that was not used to having people come back at her too.
Yes.
And she did not know how to do because you can tell in the clip you played, Em, she was immediately defensive. She was
Yes.
immediately, well, what do you mean I was invited? Like, no. You started this. I'm going to finish it.
Well, who doesn't want to be invited to a party?
Right.
Jorge?
This is the first time I see this and hear this, and like these hosts usually go and talk to them behind the scenes, like, hey, this is what the show's gonna be about. I'm gonna ask you these things. That wasn't planned.
Yo, for sure.
Like Dakota had this in mind, and she knew what she was gonna do. So
See, I think that goes a little bit further, Jorge. I think she probably said, "Oh, you want to talk? Oh, it's my birthday. Let's talk about my birthday."
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, so I'll ask. Oh, you didn't invite me."
You think she planned?
I
She
think
thinks she set the
think
trap?
She set it up. Dakota Johnson set that up.
That's a good trap if she
Knowing-
did.
It
Either
was. She
way,
fell.
this is my favorite thing that Dakota Johnson's ever done, and she will always live in not infamy, but what's the opposite of infamy in my head? Glory in my head for
Sure.
calling out
Yeah.
Ellen about this. All right, so this was Travis and Jason Kelsey on their podcast, New Heights podcast, the episode that released today, and he was talking about the NFL's coverage about his personal life.
I think it's fun when they show who all is at the game. You know, I think it brings a little bit more to the atmosphere, brings a little bit more to what you're watching. But at the same time, I think they're overdoing it. They're overdoing it a little bit for sure, especially my situation. Right. I think they're just trying to have fun with it, and a lot of the people watching. Go ahead, let's hear it.
I just think the NFL is not used to celebrities coming to the games. Like basketball has it figured out. They're all courtside. They're sitting there. They show them once or twice, but they get back to the game. The NFL is like, oh, look at all these A-list celebrities in the game. Keep showing them, show them. Dude, listen. You show them once, let them know they're there. Maybe after a touchdown, you get a little clip, but you can't be overboard with it.
Yeah.
People are there to watch the game, right?
All right, Berg, you agree with the guys?
So, no. Cap, I think the NFL absolutely knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing with Taylor Swift. They also know what they're doing with celebrities. I mean, what's the guy that had the NFL hat? I can't think of his name.
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe. Yeah, Rob Lowe. It's weird. They know what they're doing. They're at these games. Magic Johnson, LeBron James goes to the Cleveland games all the time, and they're showing him in the thing. This isn't anything new for them. So that was Jason Kelsey, the second one, right?
It's just a lot more than if you shoot to LeBron every so often.
Yes, it is a lot more.
They show LeBron
and they're doing
once.
it on purpose because, they show LeBron once, maybe twice.
Maybe.
Because
Probably not.
The difference is LeBron isn't bringing in a new audience, and Taylor Swift is. So Taylor Swift, by doing this, they're doing it on purpose to get 34% rise in their ratings. They know what they're doing. I don't think it's anything to do with, they don't know how to handle celebrities. That's nonsense. So, Cap.
I go fact in this one, and for the Taylor Swift thing, I think it's as simple as this. Even you are starting to get
I'm
annoyed with it. I think just kind of read the room. A lot of the conversation on Monday was like, my God, how many times are you going to go to
19.
Taylor Swift, whatever the number was, right? I think the first time I understood it. I think by the time it's not new anymore. It's not as improvised as it was. Now it seems a little bit more, I don't know if stage is the right word, but
or that the NFL is trying to use her as much as possible.
Yeah, which
as they should.
I'm gonna go back to it. I think there just comes a point where everybody, if you read the room, is like, yeah, I've had enough of that. Then that should kind of give you the answer.
Was Ireland
Trev?
So it's everything everybody said. Everybody is right on all of this, but I think the reason this one landed differently is because it's clearly inauthentic. It's clearly contrived just for buzz. That when LeBron James shows up at a game, LeBron James wants to go watch a football game. Right? Like if Magic Johnson shows up at an NBA game.
And also,
not that those
Taylor
guys...
could just want to go see Travis. She could want to go see Travis. And
Sure.
it's the NFL's job to not go back to them every single time.
But this feels like this is beneficial for all three parties involved. It's beneficial for him, it's beneficial for the league, and it's beneficial for her to be
I had never
exposed
even heard of Travis Kelce.
to be exposed to
ago.
a group of fans that maybe didn't know, the handful of people that might not know who she is, maybe they do now.
And then gets booed at the Giants game.
It's all of it. It's not real. It's clearly not real. Like you talked about, when you see them together, it's just there's no heat there.
I disagree with that as time goes on, but Jorge?
Look, the NFL,
She was quick to move on from
the
me.
MLS, the NFL, the NBA. They know what to do when celebrities are there. We saw it when Messi came here. He brought out Serena. He brought out Kim Kardashian. He brought out LeBron. It's normal. These guys are human beings. Like, let them enjoy the game, just like we're gonna enjoy the game. It's different because they have a personal connection. They know the athletes. It's a little different, but just let them live their moment. That's it.
All right. So last night, Bryce Harper, not only did he say no to a stop sign as he was rounding third, he blew through that, but he also threw off his helmet while running the bases. I know he does it all the time, but my statement is Bryce Harper throws off his helmet at any moment he can, mostly because his hair is great. Al, Factor Cap.
I mean, is there anything more other than fact? Is there like something
Super fact.
Yeah,
Super
is there
fact.
super fact? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if I had hair like that,
of course,
come on, bro. I'm not just a regular ground out where I know I'm coming out. I could be grounding into a double play. The helmet's coming off. Fact. That's why he's doing it. And by the way, the third base coach. There's nothing more. There's no worse look than a third base coach trying to stop the runner, and then he comes around and scores and kind of scores comfortably.
Yeah.
That happened to Bryce Harper yesterday. Yeah. It's a little bit of like, hey, that one run could be the difference of a game here.
Some guys get it's more of a suggestion than a hard stop. If Kyle Schwarber is told to stop, he needs to stop. If Bryce Harper is going through it, he can decide. Trey Turner, it's more of this is my suggestion. You do what you want to do. As far as the hair question goes. Do you know who tries to keep his helmet on when he runs? And by the way, he was running to second base a lot this year. Watch Freddie Freeman after he gets a ball in the gap. About every fourth step, he puts his hand on his head to hold his helmet on. Freddie Freeman does not have the flow that Bryce Harper has, right? Freddie Freeman has a haircut from like the 1950s. He's got a flat top. He's got his hair at least, unlike myself. But Freddie Freeman's trying to keep that helmet on because he's got, a flat top or whatever. That Bryce Harper is glorious. Of course he wants people to see it.
Berg?
So it's obviously
Wish I had a perm. You know what I mean?
It's obviously cap. It's or fact. Excuse me. When you got it, you got to flaunt it. It's like when a guy is super ripped and they just rip off their shirt at every single chance that they have. Wasn't there a time when Matthew McConaughey took his shirt off in every single movie that he was possibly in because he just wanted to show himself off? Exactly.
Going to the grocery store, taking my shirt off.
Exactly. It's like, oh, hey, Us Magazine's following me right now. Hold on, let me rip off my shirt. So it's the same type of thing. If you got the hair, you show the hair.
Yeah.
Jorge?
Yeah, if you got the hair, show it. And this, I'm going to take this into a production sense. There's a slow-mo camera on him the whole time. They're going to make that a commercial. Can you imagine all the dirt as he's sliding, slow motion?
Absolutely.
Hey, wash your hair with this product. It's
Head
great.
And shoulders.
Exactly.
By the
Get
way,
rid of dandruff now.
The best slow motion caption over the past weekend was Sam Hartman. The slow motion Sam Hartman, the quarterback of the for Notre Dame, just warming up, puts his hand through his hair. Every girl I know was sending me videos of that, and they know what they're doing.
And he did the thing where he puts his chin on his chest and flips it backwards, and it was in super slow mo. Like it's
Winner.
Like, dude knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's a commercial in the making.
Certain types of books.
You a Fabio guy, Berg?
Who is it? I think everyone's a Fabio
I could
guy.
see him on like Hallmark Channel or something, like being a lumberjack in his hometown.
Yeah, exactly. He's a brawny guy. You're the brawny man, right? It's Fabio. There's a very specific type of guy for sure. No, Bryce Harper has the best hair in baseball. He might.
Yeah, he might.
I mean, Charlie Culberson was, but he wasn't a big enough name.
Yeah, Harper's a multiple-time MVP.
But Culberson had some.
Altman's got good flow.
He's got good hair.
Altman's got good flow.
Dansby Swanson had really good hair for a while.
Does.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman.
Not so much.
Altuve's got to keep his helmet on. His wife gets mad.
Yeah. He has a tattoo on his head.
Yeah, he's got the buzzer
brand new.
sewn into his scalp.
I got to bring
the
that
trash
up.
can tattoo.
We did come back. Yeah.
All right, you watched it was Frontline on the Astros last night?
PBS, yeah. Really,
We're gonna
really
get
good.
intellectual on people. That's
Really
coming up
good.
next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. So I was talking with my friends at Sweet James the other day, and they said something to me that I never really thought of that I want to make sure that you know too. That if you're involved in an accident, you need to know that you need to call Sweet James, right? 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-900-0000. But she was telling me, Maria was telling me, that a lot of people who are involved in accidents don't go get the medical care that they need right away, that they wait because they got to go to work, they got to take care of their kids, they're just living such busy lives that they postpone the fact that they need medical attention despite the fact that they're in pain. Well, guess what happens? The insurance company uses that against you. So when it comes time to make that settlement, they're lowballing you. They're not doing that. So if you're in an accident, get the medical care that you need and then call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. Let him go to work on the insurance company for you. They can get you the right settlement. And if they won't settle, they're going to take them. And they're going to win. They win 98% of the time. 1-800-9-MILLION if you're hurt in a car, motorcycle, or truck accident. That's the number for Sweet James. 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
Mason. Right move? Do you think it's the right strategy? No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
All right, guys. Well, if you don't have any plans for this coming Monday, well, now you do. So join Corporate Greg this Monday at Hollywood Park Casino. He'll be hosting a Raiders Monday Night Football watch party and giving you a chance to win $1 million. So you can see, I don't know, Greg freak out that the Raiders lose again in a very funny,
he's rooting
fashionable way.
against him.
I was
He's
going to say, he
watching
might be
him.
cheering for them.
Yeah, he's hate watching his team
Or
right
you
now.
can be a Raiders fan and, commiserate together. Either way, come and see if you're a Raiders fan or if you're not. It's this Monday starting at 5 p.m. at Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play. And again, it's right by SoFi Stadium. It's a great place to watch a game.
There's two types of fans. There's the fans that no matter what, got to have my team win.
Yeah.
We're 0-16 going into the final week.
Yeah.
0-17 guarantees the number one pick. I want to win. And
that fan.
I'm the other one too. Like,
Yeah.
hey, look, what's best? I want to be good for a while.
Strategic.
I want to be more strategic about it.
Strategery.
Raider fans, I think, are probably more the first group. They're Raider fans. They're all in. They might have the best fan base in football. They're lunatics in the best possible way.
And something that's really, really tough to have in sports, where whatever city they represent does not
Doesn't
matter.
They might be. So this would literally never happen. But let's say the Cowboys said, we're going to move to San Antonio. Mm-hmm. We got a deal where they're going to pay us $5 billion a year to be the San Antonio Cowboys. I think the Cowboys maybe might be able to move around a little bit and they have their fans, but
Come to
not
San
a lot.
Diego.
Wait, why the San Diego
space.
Cowboys? That'd look good.
Yeah, it's a nice
Change
little
the
ring to
star to like a sun or
Yeah.
something. Why not? Why not? Something a little more on brand with San Diego.
Okay, so I mentioned to you, this one actually just came up. I didn't even know it was coming out. Frontline, which is part of PBS that does, they do as good as documentaries as you can do, but they're typically very heavy. They're about the presidential election. They're about Saddam Hussein. Like there's the Middle East, opioid crisis. There's really heavy stuff that they do.
Sure.
They did a documentary. Did you know that this was coming out?
I didn't.
Because I did not. So yesterday it comes up in my YouTube feed. And the documentary investigates the Astros cheating scandal. So it's about an hour and a half, and it's called The Astros Edge. I highly, highly recommend you, baseball fans, listeners, go watch it. It is really, really good. And the perspective is a little interesting. Ben Ryder works for Sports Illustrated. And you said, when I mentioned it to you, he had an article that come out. It was on the cover of Sports Illustrated back in 2014, I want to say. And the cover said, this is when they're losing 100 games a year consistently. That says the Astros will win the World Series in 2017.
Right.
So he kind of tells the story, and he's the one doing all the reporting and everything else. Because there came a time after the Astros won in 2017, there was a lot of baseball teams that were looking at the Astros and seeing, they're the first ones to start bringing this technology. What's the pitch one that they all use now?
PitchCom?
I think it's PitchCom.
That's the one they call pitches with, like from the little wristband thing.
No, what's the one they started tracking every single pitch, and it all was just coming down
TrackMan.
to TrackMan.
Yeah.
So it just kind of goes through, okay, this is where the Astros were. 2011, they hired their GM.
Jeff Luhnow.
And Jeff Luhnow comes from Wall Street, and he's coming in with zero baseball knowledge, but there was just here's how we're going to do it. The owner of the Astros brings him in and says, okay, we're going to give you the opportunity to go do this. And the way they start figuring out how to be successful in baseball is basically a model taken in Wall Street. Like you could just take this model and try to take this model and put it in any type of business, and it's all stats-driven, all that stuff. Goes through the whole thing. Gets it all the way to 2017. There was a Astros fan that once they found out the cheating scandal happened, just didn't want to believe that it was true, and then really, really started, once the details came out of, look, if you listen, the way this stuff has came out, when that athletic report came out, somebody's banging a trash can. He went and reviewed 8,000 pitches.
No kidding.
Of Astros home games to listen to, okay, can I see, is there something going on here where you can hear this? And over 1,000 pitches of the 8,000 pitches, there was some kind of a bang or whatever the case is. It gets perspectives from some of the players, the pitchers that came out of the league after they got shelled by the Astros, and it's really well done. I don't know how much of it you'll watch and say, okay, this is all new information to me. But I think it's one of the first times that I've seen something that's specific on the Astros.
I would love to see it. It sounds interesting. The Astro thing got even more complicated than it already was a year ago, right? Because even after they got popped, and even after they became the team that everybody outside of the city of Houston hates, they continued to be really good. And they continued. They won a World Series last year. I think they've been in the ALCS. What is it, 5 or 6 years in a row?
Something like that.
And I think they won their division. Same thing with the Dodgers, where they've only lost one in like 7 years.
Yeah, but unlike the Dodgers, they've gotten at least to the semifinals like 5 or 6 years in a row. I think maybe this would make 6. So they're winning, and I understand. Look, I'm never turning the page. I'm never seeing Jose Altuve for anything other than what he is.
And this is not going to help you turn the page.
No, and I don't think so. But it's also they won again.
Yeah.
And they're good every year.
And they're good again.
They're good again.
They could easily go to the World Series again this year. And not easily, but they could definitely happen.
They're the 2 seed.
And imagine them knocking out the Orioles, who are a team that everybody is rooting for because it's got the young guys and an organization that's not in the playoffs very often. That would suck.
So the Astros video operating manager is a part of this doc as well.
Okay.
And there was a game. Do you remember this game? Was it the White Sox? It was kind of later in the season. And you've probably seen the scene. There's a picture of the White Sox, and there aren't that many people that are at the game. It might have been a day game, something like that, weekday day game, so there weren't that many people, and you could really hear the banging of the trash can.
Okay.
And he starts realizing what's going on. And he calls the catcher out.
Yeah.
And the video manager is talking about how at that moment there was some panic between the Astros because they were like, I think we're getting caught.
Oh.
And it was this kind of rush to take the monitor out. And then the guy, the Astros fan that was monitoring all the pitchers or was monitoring all the bangs and everything else, after that play, after that catcher came out, they didn't do it again. He did not monitor anything the rest of the, I guess supposedly the rest of the regular and postseason, but that doesn't make sense.
Those are the smoking guns of the whole thing, right? And the other one was that in that World Series game where Clayton Kershaw had a 4-run lead and he had a 3-run lead, Clayton Kershaw is one of the greatest pitchers in the history of a sport that has a 130-year history. He's one of the best to have ever done it. He has done it, not exclusively, but in large part because he has one of the most devastating curveballs that anybody has ever thrown in the history of the sport. You know how many times they swung and missed at his curveball that game? 0. Come on, man. 0. Come on, man. I mean, it's Clayton Kershaw.
Want to hear something crazy? Okay, something crazy about the same thing. And the video manager is opening up. He's kind of telling everything, right? Talked about how the technology and this, everything they're using. Do you know what his salary was? You get a playoff share. Employees get playoff shares. I don't know the details of this, how it works.
Right.
They get playoff shares if you make the playoffs, the further you go, and if you win the World Series. And I guess the team determines who gets X amount of dollars of the playoff share. Do you know what his salary was for that year in 2017?
$35,000.
$45,000.
Yeah.
Do you know what his playoff share was?
Probably a couple hundred.
$450,000 they gave him.
Yeah, I'd cheat too. I mean, honestly, I'd cheat too. If I make $40,000 and I got $500,000 coming my way, forget about it. Mookie and JD going to have to lead the Dodgers to a second-round appearance. They got to draft a football team first. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Is the Wawa Grill lunch hour on 710 ESPN. Thanks to our friends at Wawa Grill. Wawa Grill is all about giving you fresh grill-to-order menu items at a great value. So stop by today for a value bowl and taco combo for only $8.59. So grilled chicken mini bowl, their new Boom Boom taco, and a drink for $8.59. Get yours today. Order ahead at wabagrill.com. Wawa Grill, eat smart, be healthy.
All right, it just turned on the game. We got the Rays and the Rangers getting ready for Game 2. The Rangers have an opportunity to close this thing out on the road today. And I can't decide if this what makes it awesome or this what makes it so hard. You play 6 months after playing a month in spring training, right? So you've played 7 months worth of baseball games. And baseball, if nothing else, is just it's kind of this ebb and flow. You're playing well, you're playing less well. You play well, you play less well. And the good teams play well for a longer period of time, but they go down too. And now you get into a series where if you have 2 not-so-good days in a row, you're done. It's awesome because it's incredibly exciting. But let's say the Braves have 3 bad days in a row and the Miami Marlins clip them.
Yeah.
Is that good for baseball to have the best team in the sport out in a weekend?
Well, I was a big fan of expanding the playoffs. I was a big fan of the amount of teams that are in. I don't know how crazy I am about 2 teams getting a bye. So if you go, just as an example.
I'm not sure it's an advantage.
Yeah, you might not be wrong on that.
Yeah.
You might not be wrong on that. But just as an example, a 3-game set, that's so quick.
Oh, it's a weekend.
Okay, so what do you do then? Okay, let's say you extend it to a 5-game set. Well, you're going to have 2 teams not playing while they're going for a 5-game set.
Yeah.
And you're going to have baseball in the middle of November, which is a problem.
Okay,
Especially if you're playing in Philly, if you're playing New York.
Let's go back to this. If you want the postseason to be, I'm going to give you an example, and I'm not saying this is a solution. I'm more of a fan of it, but I don't know if everybody would be. You have 6 teams getting in on each side. Have 8 teams get in on each side. Everybody plays, and just don't play 162, play 150.
Money.
But even money, the money's going to be there too from the postseason.
Only if you make it.
Right.
If you're the A's or the Angels and
or
you
even
never
the
make the
Yankees
playoffs.
and the Mets.
That's
right?
16 teams that now get in.
It's not the worst idea I've ever heard, but a team like the Colorado Rockies are like, I'm not giving back 10 home games. You know how much money I make in 10 home games? I'm not doing that.
Not that much.
Right. Well, yeah, maybe that's not a great example.
But the issue is, actually, I think that you can make even more of a case for that because let's say you're missing 6 home games out of that.
Yeah.
Right? The 12 games you're missing, 6 of them are home games. By the time you start getting later in the season and the games don't mean anything, nobody's really coming to those games to begin with. If you're in the hunt, because 8 teams are getting in on both sides, you might have more opportunity.
I think we lose track of this. I agree with you. You're not getting 40,000 people at a Rockies game when they're out of it, but you are getting 15. And they're all paying to park their car. And they're all buying a beer and a hot dog. It's literally millions of dollars every time they throw open the gates. And if that's the only chance I have to make another $4 or $5 million, I don't want to give it back.
I can see their Cosmic Brownie as a mascot.
I know they never want to take away games because all of these sports can easily the NBA could take away games. They easily can, but they're not going to do it.
Has anybody ever reduced their schedule? The NFL, in my lifetime, the NFL has gone from 14 to 16 to 17.
Right.
Okay, it's increased. Baseball, before I was born, went from 154 to 162. Mm-hmm. Okay?
NBA, I'll tell you what happened in the NBA. NBA, remember, they used to be 5-game sets.
Yeah.
Now they're all 7.
Right, but did they change the
expanded.
Has it always been an 82-game regular season? I guess the point is, college football, when I was in high school, you played 11 games. Now you play like 13 or 14. It's just there's more of all of them. They never go the other way.
All right, so Mookie Betts has a podcast called On Base with Mookie Betts through Bleacher Report. And so he had his teammate, JD Martinez, come in, and they were just, goofy around, and they wanted to talk about what players in their team they would have on a football team. So it's the same players. What skill set can they bring to a football team? I know my first pick.
I'm curious who they took.
All right, so here's Mookie and JD.
Let's say you're starting a football team. Who's QB1? You're saying the Dodgers. On the Dodgers. Dang, you're going with Kirsch? Kirsch is QB1. I would choose me.
That's Mookie.
You like a Kyler Murray, dog. Who's your defensive end?
My defensive end. We're gonna need someone big and athletic.
There's one big athletic dude on our team.
I'm thinking like Bobby Miller. Like, he's a big guy. Who are you thinking?
I would go with Gratterall. You think he moves quick enough to be defensive end?
Gratterall is one of the most athletic people on our team.
Really?
You don't know that? Wide receiver 1.
I was going to pick you.
Okay, so I'm your wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
I think I will probably go with Joe Kelly. What about running back?
Colin Wong. Colin's fast, dude.
I'm going Outman.
I got Outman more like a linebacker.
Okay, so what about your kicker?
I'll go with Miggy Rowe because Miggy loves soccer.
Does Kike play soccer?
I love that JD Martinez is like he just got introduced to all these guys. He doesn't know any of them. It's terrific.
He's only played one whole season with them.
At least 7 months, you know that he likes this or that.
But he's like, Gratterall, what?
Gratterall is a freak athlete.
Yes.
He really, because he's so big and burly that you don't, like, this is why he makes all those errors when he pitches, is because he thinks he's a shortstop. Like, he runs over there on one leg and tries to come from underneath like he's Ozzie Smith because he can do it. Like, he'll make a couple of plays that are just bananas.
You know your family's athletic when your mom steps on the mound and just throws
a strike.
Perfect freaking
strike, yes.
pitch.
She's a ball player.
100%.
I don't know if it's softball or she played baseball, but it was not the first time that woman had put a baseball in her hands.
No. She's like, let's go. Let's get this thing going.
I'm not certain the same could be said of Stephen A. Smith. That might have been the first time he had ever put a baseball in his hands. It looked very different. Quarterback 1 on the Dodger roster. Who are you putting in there?
Did Outman used to play
He's a football player. I don't think he's a quarterback.
I don't mind the Kershaw. I think
that's the right answer.
Yeah. He's got the leadership. He's got the.
He's not going to scramble.
Smarts, size, toughness. And he can throw.
He can ask Matthew Stafford for advice.
He could ask. He's got a buddy that knows how to do it.
I'll go against that. I'll say Mookie. The way he threw from outfield all the way home.
You want
get injured.
You want Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
which not a bad choice. I'm going to put Mookie
Russell
as
Wilson
my wide
style.
receiver. Yeah, Mookie's got to be the wide receiver. Defensive end, I had 2 different choices. Gratterall's a really good choice, but 2 different things popped to my mind as I was doing it. Lance Lynn's my left tackle. Lance Lynn's my left tackle. He's a big dude.
Yep.
He's gonna hold it down over there. Hayward or Freddie. They're both, again, Freddie. I really do think it's the way he wears his uniform that you lose track of how big he is.
Yeah.
Freddie's enormous. Like when Hayward and Freddie stand next to each other.
And he's fast. He's got the stolen bases.
Yes. Like he's a freak athlete too, but because he wears long sleeves and has high pants, it doesn't look.
Sure.
I can't come up with another explanation.
Proportions are interesting.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It's odd, but so I could go defensive end there. Mookie's my wide receiver. Outman is 100% your linebacker. That dude is a tank, and he's fast,
beast.
and he's aggressive. Where are we putting Will Smith?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe secondary because he can catch. He can get some interceptions.
He's slow.
Can Will Smith
doesn't run well.
Can he be a running back? Just one of those
fullback.
Fullback.
He's used check.
Exactly. Goal line. You need a couple yards.
Or like a Le'Veon Bell kind of stutter step
like
where he's waiting for the hole and he goes through.
But he's only going to run like 2 or 3 yards and hit something.
That's okay.
Right. That's why it's like a use check kind of
strategically.
situation. I can't have him in open space.
No.
He's not making a lot of guys miss. Who else are we missing?
So how did you feel about the Joe Kelly positioning? Because I think that Joe Kelly is a guy who So hear me out.
Okay.
I think that
Where did they put him?
I want to say they
wide
put him
receiver?
in wide receiver.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Mookie put him in wide receiver. But
I put him like special teams coach.
What I like out of Joe Kelly is that what is Joe Kelly most famous for on the Dodgers?
Talking, you know what?
Exactly. So you want him in the secondary because you jaw back and forth with the other wide receiver, and you get in that wide receiver's head. So Jalen Ramsey used to do that. Witherspoon was doing it this past weekend. You get inside that head, and he obviously can catch. He's playing baseball. So I think that Joe Kelly could be a good secondary.
I'll sign off on that. That works for me. And I bet he can run. Just looking at his body, like it looks like he can cover some tall, lean.
It looks like he's fast.
Put Chris Taylor. You got to put
Chris Taylor. I was going to ask that one.
Yeah, Chris Taylor.
I would say wide receiver.
Chris Taylor is also like
he's a special team player.
I don't feel like I know enough about him, so that's why
he's a special team.
Like he can do special teams, but Chris
he's a holder.
He's going to have some plays.
Here's why he's special
teams.
He's
Ben Skoranek. He's played special teams. Occasionally he'll come in at wide receiver. He can throw a block. He can run the ball if you need. He's going to do a little bit of everything.
So here's why he's special teams, because they're utility guys. Because they're used, but then occasionally, like Chris Taylor has in the past, they will hit a home run. They will
pop
break. They'll break in the coverage, and they'll go 40, 50 yards on a return. So I think that's what Chris Taylor is. You're not going to get that every game, but you're going to get it when it's important.
Trying to think who else we're leaving off. Like
Kike? Did we already talk about Kike?
Kike's a special teamer too. He's all over the field. What about I'm blanking on his name, the closer. Why can't I think of his name? Evan Phillips. Thank you. He's got an important role in the tight end.
Yeah.
He's like a little safety valve.
Yeah.
He's the guy that you need that first down to end the game. We'll put him in there.
Sure, yeah. I'll sign off on that.
What is Dave Sean McVay in this analogy? Is he running the show?
Yeah, I guess he would be Sean McVay or Les Snead or something else.
Yeah, Vezia's not getting any PT.
He's
not coming in.
You know who Vezia is?
Not coming in.
Tanner Brown, the guy that's no longer on the team. He's Cam
Akers.
Akers. Yeah, he's like, hey, buddy, thank you for everything.
Come on,
but
bro, Vezia's just driving around right now.
He's been better of late. But okay, I'll do my. You know, I had to do all the time, right? That gate swings open. Here comes Alex Vezia. How you feeling about that? Not great.
Good if you're Arizona.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that GIF? Was it at JT Real Muto when they cut to the guy running out of the gate and he just rolls his eyes?
Yeah. No, the gate swings open and here comes Ryan Brazier. All right, let's go. Joe Kelly. Yep, I got you. Evan Phillips. Yeah, all right. Yarborough. Yep, let's have it happen. Gratterall. Yeah, I think we're okay. Here comes Caleb Ferguson. Oh boy.
Yeah. Bessie and him. My dad's like, I'll be back. I'm going to get a soda.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, and those are, other than Yarborough, those are the only two left-handed arms.
Those are ones that
they're gonna have to
I
pitch.
love that your dad's saying that because there are certain guys that you watch, you're like, I can't.
Oh,
I
that's
can't
just
watch.
a nice version of what he says.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure it is. We'll go for a lap.
All right, we're going to find out who JB thinks on the Rams could play for the Dodgers. We'll do that next. JB Long, voice of the Rams. He joins us. Stravinsly, 710, not 10, ESPN.
The most
Here comes the rush. He throws right side alone. It's Puka at the 5 to the end zone. A walk-off winner. Puka Nacua in overtime. 22 yards to get the Rams to 2-2. Maurice Jones-Drew, sing it with me as Nacua flings it into the stands. Nacua Matata. It means no worries for the rest of today. It's a problem-free Rams victory. 29-23 in OT.
That, of course, is the voice of the Rams, JB Long, who joins us right now. JB, I know that you are a modest guy, that you don't like talking about yourself.
A great freaking call.
That is such a great call. When you were done delivering that had to feel good, right?
I probably was a little bit bashful about taking it too far. Poor Maurice Jones-Drew was looking at me like I was going to get him fired. He promptly fled the country and flew to London, so we won't see him for a couple of weeks. But, I got caught up in the moment. But as you guys know, that's the best part of what we get to do is there's a select few moments each year which kind of sweep you off your feet. And for Puka, who's had the best month for a rookie I've ever seen, the only thing lacking from his resume was a touchdown, and what a way to get it.
Well, it was, I think we all agree, it was a fantastic
awesome.
call. So at least that's what we felt. JB, I'll go back before we look forward here. They're up big, and next thing you know, the game's tied at 23. Game goes to overtime, but they got the win. And I know sometimes, if we just looked at this game and it didn't go exactly the way it was planned, but you walked away with a win. If I ask you to describe the Rams now, they're 4 games in. They're sitting at 2-2. I'm sure they're happy with the 2-2, but there's so many storylines within the 2-2. How would you describe what you've seen so far from the Rams?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they beat the Colts twice. I wish that counted double. Unfortunately, it doesn't. And I think the big picture answer to your question, Slee, is 2-2 seems fair. I think 2-2 is representative of who they've played and the way they've played. I believe that at the end of Sunday, through 5 games, the Rams will play the toughest schedule in the National Football League. And I think each kind of segment of their year has a measuring stick game. The first segment, the home game against San Francisco, was undoubtedly that contest. Now you have maybe the other NFC power, the reigning champion in the conference, Philadelphia, coming to your place. You get to test yourself, hopefully with Cooper Kupp back in the lineup. Are we there yet? There's another one down the road at the end of this month, a trip to Dallas. They might be the best team in the NFC. Are you in that group of contenders yet? And then ultimately it'll finish Week 18 back in San Francisco, and I hope the Rams have grown to a point where, once again, it's a worthy conversation to have. I don't know entirely how to feel about that victory. For me, it's a positive, thrilling memory in Indianapolis. But I think part of the cocktail of emotions flying home was having averted disaster, because there was a very real scenario where the Rams were coming home at 1-3, having squandered that 23-0 lead, and now have to pick up the pieces against maybe the best roster in the NFC.
JB, with that in mind, and like you said, you're trying to process how you feel about that whole thing. With the full understanding, it's only 4 weeks of the season is in the books. Am I totally off base to think that they saved their season with that touchdown? That because of what you just said, 1-3 with Philly coming to town, knowing what the rest of the schedule looks like. When he went in, it felt like, all right, the season is still very much alive. Is that an overreaction?
No, I think it's just alive in terms of its potential, right? Like you wouldn't have written them off at 1-3, but they would have been in a very precarious position and in the wrong company in terms of the playoff hunt with an undefeated Philadelphia team coming to your place. So, it gives them, to me, Travis, the right to continue to grow, to improve, and to see. And that means that this month of October is going to be fascinating, because you ultimately do have now a 3-game homestand. And if you can keep your head at or above water, you might give yourselves a chance, a reason to supplement your roster to make a real second-half push.
JB Long taking some time to join us here on the Travis and Sliwa Show. So as we look to Sunday, Philadelphia comes to town, taking on the Rams. I know the expectations, when you looked at the schedule before the season started, there were certain matchups that you shouldn't feel that comfortable about. Philly, I think, is one of those games. What are you looking for on Sunday, specifically Stafford hobbling for as long as he was, still the question mark about Cooper Kupp. Just what are you looking for from the Rams in that matchup on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll kind of take them in reverse order. My hope is that Cooper Kupp can go, just because I love seeing him play, and he obviously gives the Rams an incremental chance to win. I think having to sit those first 4 games, this is probably the one that he's been circling and working towards, so just rooting for him to accomplish that health goal and return to performance. I hope he's out there. Stafford, to me, is the key. I think a lot of people are undervaluing the way he's played so far because they look at, his touchdown to interception ratio, I guess. He's not a fantasy favorite. I think I saw he was like outside the top 20 fantasy quarterbacks, and that's all fine and good. But the underlying metrics say he's the best quarterback in the stadium on Sunday. And I sincerely believe that the way he's playing, that's justified. Now, what percentage of his health he's going to be, I don't know. Hurts just put together his best performance, maybe a breakout performance. But equally to all the questions about the Rams, I think it's, are the Philadelphia Eagles ripe for an upset? Because those who follow them closely know they're 4-0 against a mediocre schedule without having put together their best game yet. Heck, they were just pushed to overtime by Washington. Or was that the win that kind of finally gets them the traction to take off and prove that they're one of the NFC's best?
JB Long joining us. JB, we were just listening to a cut from Mookie Betts and JD Martinez, and they were drafting guys on their team and what positions they would play in football. I know that you've done baseball play-by-play as well. I want to flip it. Like if Matthew Stafford were going to get drafted to play baseball, Aaron Donald's going to go play baseball. Where on the field are you going to put those guys?
Yeah, did you guys know that Matthew Stafford is actually – no, I won't go down that. We've covered the Kershaw angle. Yeah. The way he's winging it right now, though, like I'd love to bring him out of the bullpen as like a high-leverage reliever, maybe even a closer. I think Stafford could be that guy.
Is he a sidewinder? Is he coming from the side like he does occasionally, or is he over the top?
He's a 3/4 delivery, absolute filthy slider, like right at the right-handed batter's knees, and
ball
it just
across
the plate.
What about
going the other way? Can we have Freddie Freeman as a tight end? I wouldn't mind that. Like kind of loading him up next to Tyler Higbee, that'd be cool. Aaron Donald, where would he fit in? Seems like a catcher to me.
Okay, he blocked the plate effectively.
I think he'd be a good catcher. Where else could he? How about down at third base? How about his agility down on the hot corner? Would Aaron Donald be a good third baseman?
He's a 40 home run guy, though, right? I mean, he's kind of guy. I know he's not 6'9" like Judge, but he's so strong. Just
that's all.
Make contact and it's gone.
Yeah, you make a good point. Maybe he's just your DH. Maybe that's his role. You don't want to overutilize him on defense.
What about Puka?
Which is a strange thing to say about Aaron Donald.
Going?
Puka. I think Puka, oh, man, I hope I didn't close the closer role to him because now that I think about the flow coming out the back of his hat, maybe he comes in with some theme music, the lights, flicker on and off for him. I think Puka to finish it out would be a really nice touch for the Dodgers in this postseason.
I got a football question for you about Puka. And, look, you've been doing this a while. I've been doing we've seen – kind of sort of what's happened to Puka before. And what it is a guy that's brand new comes in and far surpasses expectations. And it goes one of two ways. It's a year or two from now, we're saying, hey, remember when Puka went nuts through 4 weeks? Or, hey, they found an all-pro in the 5th round and we knew in 4 weeks. Which of those two is more likely from what you've seen?
Well, you know me, and you know how my lenses are tinted, so you know which direction I'm leaning. I think the circumstances that he's in are very favorable to make this have staying power.
Yeah.
He plays in an offense that's going to feature him. He works with a quarterback who's a kingmaker at receiver in the National Football League. And then the way they utilize him, what I don't think he's gotten enough credit for is the way he competes in the running game. There's a few plays from last week where, like, they put him in motion, they fit him into a running surface, and he does his job the way that we have only seen really Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods do in this offense previously. Or they run him through a C gap and bend him all the way back across the field on a deep over, and he's got the speed and endurance to play a high number of snaps and to be, a game-winning target in overtime. So I think he will only get better with Cooper Kupp at his side. I think they are a great tandem, and with Tutu taking the top off, this has a threat to be a lethal offense. And I think Cooper Kupp coming back makes the Rams a better running team. That's the part that probably won't get talked about this week, but really matters for this Sunday's game. But, yeah, I think he might be the next Cooper Kupp. He might be ready to take that torch, not this year, but down the line. They've found maybe Cooper Kupp's replacement long term.
Where is JB Long on the baseball field?
In the dugout, sunflower seed,
there it is.
Big League Chew.
Yeah.
Wondering why I'm wearing a baseball uniform at my age, but thankfully all the managers and position coach, bench coaches do. So we're just part of the group.
There you go, JB.
Yeah. I'm going to be a scout. I want to go on the road a little bit and just say, "Nah, kid can't play."
JB, I saw you as
a professional hater.
I saw you as a third base coach, just telling.
winging him in.
Yeah, JB there at third.
Just Bryce Harper blowing me off, completely ignoring me.
Hey, you made it. It's not a mistake if you make it, right?
I'm kind of the third base coach of my house now that I think about it. Like, I'm giving all kinds of directions and signals, and runners are just doing whatever the heck they want.
Maybe they're paying attention, maybe they're not.
JB Long will have the call. The Eagles and the Rams coming up, of course, on Sunday, just a little bit after 1 o'clock. JB, always fun. Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
All right, Slee, have a great hoop season, by the way. Excited to get the Lakers going and travel. Talk to you again this weekend.
You got it. All right.
Start Saturday.
Yeah. Third base coach is pretty good.
Oh, no, that's a good spot.
Okay, but here's the rub with third base coach. You can only mess it up, right? If you stop a guy, okay, cool.
Okay.
But what if you wing a guy in and he's out by 5 feet?
So there's a lot of pressure on that. So now, by the way, I'm leaving third. I don't want to be third anymore.
Okay.
I don't want to be third. Didn't Phil Nevin have a moment with the Yankees? Wasn't it Nevin with the Yankees?
They all have.
But it was a playoff game, and
he made the wrong decision.
Call, and the camera would not stop showing him. Like on the, okay, we got it. He screwed up, but the cameraman was just like, let me keep showing Phil Nevin.
If you are over first base is great. You take the little shin guard, you pat him on the butt, and you say, okay, here we go.
First sounds like a really good spot.
I am always with the kickball league, we have first and third coaches or whatever. Again, just the same thing: go, not go, etc. I'm always a very, very conservative third base coach.
Even if you have your fastest teammate on the bases.
Even so, I'm always worried about them getting called out or not, and so I tend to lay on that side of things.
I'm bringing them in no matter what.
You want a collision?
Let's go.
So I'm a soccer guy. You guys, I'm used to playing with other guys that are fast. So then Randy's he was playing pony baseball, and his coach couldn't make it. But the day before our practice, he's like, "Hey man, it looks you play baseball. You know baseball. You look like a guy that knows what he's doing. Can you coach tomorrow for the first 2 innings? Because I'm running a little late." I'm like, "Sure, let's do it." So then there's another dad who comes in and he's like, "I'll take over first. You go to third." I'm like, "Cool."
That other dad worked
that
you.
Other dad said you go to third. You. So I go to third, and every kid that was running, I would be doing this. Go. But I know they're not fast. And I realized that 2 batters in, I'm just
if you see somebody that looks like me, 2 hands in the air. Yep. We're going station to station. We are not winging anybody home.
So I'm thinking, the ball's pretty far. This kid's gonna make
Doesn't
it.
Matter.
Nope.
Doesn't matter.
Nope.
That other dad's like, watch me.
Oh, he set me
watch
up.
me put this rookie
he
on
set
blast.
Me up.
I'll do first. You go do third. I'll just be
so I'm excited.
I
go to Big 5, get my baseball pants. I'm like, yeah, Randy's excited because I'm gonna do it. I show up with baseball pants, soccer cleats.
Oh no! Oh my God!
Yes.
Come on, man.
Hey, dog.
Dude,
that's all I had.
He's got hiking shoes on.
That'd be better than soccer cleats.
Hey.
How long ago did this happen?
Well, he's 17 now, so he's probably 10, 11.
So we knew each other at this
point.
Dude, pick up the phone. Let's go.
Hey, man.
Well, I wear soccer cleats when I play kickball because I kick it. I need to have that surface area.
I wear soccer cleats indoor basketball.
When you go swimming.
They just be really moving slowly on there.
When I go swimming.
Dave Roberts and The Script. Is there one this playoff season? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Hey, it's Travis. If you're
Hey guys, it's producer Lindsay Baseball, and guess what? Thursday Night Football has a brand new home, and it's the 909 Sports Bar at Yamava Resort and Casino. Join me and the 710 Fun Games Department every Thursday night for a party. I will be giving away $1,000 cash every Thursday night. So this Thursday from 4 to 7 at the 909 Sports Bar, win cash and watch football with me, producer Lindsay Baseball. Or maybe they should call me Lindsay Football. See you there.
The return of Million Dollar Mondays.
Million Dollar Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. Million Dollar Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 million mega sports station, 710 ESPN.
All right, I have more 90210 quiz for Travis, but before that, I want to remind you guys about Sedano and Cap are going to be celebrating Fuel Up Tuesday with Andrew Whitworth at 7-Eleven. I wonder where Andrew would play on the baseball field. We'll talk about that a little later. But join us in the city of Covina next Tuesday, October 10th, for a live broadcast from 4 to 7 p.m. at the 7-Eleven on the corner of Arrow and Hollenbeck. Stop by for the chance to meet a Super Bowl champion, Andrew Whitworth, at 4, plus ticket giveaways, free small Slurpees, a $1 slice of pizza, and a half-pound hot dogs. Or, sorry, quarter-pound hot dogs.
Get two.
Yeah, 2.
That makes it a half pound.
Exactly. Sedano and Cap live from the 7-Eleven in Covina, 1481 West Hollenbeck Avenue on Tuesday, October 10th from 4 to 7 from Bud Light and 710 ESPN. So, here's my next Beverly Hills 90210 quiz for you. So, again, I'm gonna give you the season, I'm going to give you the title of the episode, the date it aired, and the first sentence of the plot. Okay? So this was season 4. The title of the episode is And Did It My Way. And it aired November 10th, 1993. Okay, so here's the first sentence of the description on IMDb. When their wedding plans became too much of a hassle, Stewart convinces Brenda that they should elope to Las Vegas.
Yep. So they go to Las Vegas. So Stewart was Jim Walsh's. Jim Walsh was an accountant or an investment guy in Beverly Hills. He had a wide stable of clients, and one of his very wealthy clients had a son who was roughly Brenda's age. And they had set him up. They end up hitting it off. They end up wanting to get married and going to Vegas. Ultimately, when they're in Vegas, because of some random number things that happen in Vegas, they decide not to get married, and that was that particular storyline. And then Stewart became kind of a weird, greasy guy after that. He was kind of a dorky, wholesome guy, and then turned into a weirdo.
Great. The rest of the description says, after Brandon finds out, he gets the rest of the gang to drop what they were doing and fly out to Vegas to try to discourage Brenda and Stewart from their marital plans. Meanwhile, Laura wants to see more of Steve, who tries to keep things between them under wraps. On the other personal front, Brandon continues to try and keep Lucinda distant, who continues to flirt with him every chance she gets.
So Lucinda was the wife of Brandon's history professor, and Lucinda was a troublemaker. Lucinda was very spicy and very beautiful and liked Brandon a lot. And Brandon was conflicted because he didn't want to do what he was being asked to do, but he ultimately did do it anyway. And then it got a little freaky.
Reading these descriptions is like somebody was on drugs while writing these.
They might have been.
That very well could have happened.
Lucinda was very interesting to me. Lucinda was very liberated, shall we say.
Okay.
Yes. She was willing to try some stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking about, yet I feel like I know Lucinda.
You know exactly.
And I know a lot about her already.
Looks like one of the Rays outfielders. Who plays left field for the Rays?
Is it a Rosarena?
I think so. He tried to dive for a ball, got hit in the face by it on the way up.
Here we go. Here's a replay.
Yeah, you got to replay this. And
that's definitely...
hitting his glove. It looked like his face.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Just missed it. Oh, just missed it by a hair. Andrew Whitworth plays first base, by the way.
Really? Yeah.
First of all, 6'7". When he was playing, he was 330, 6'7", and he was lean at 330.
Could he do the splits?
I don't know if he could do the splits, but he's freakishly athletic for a guy that size. If you
throw the ball near him, he's picking it.
He's going to pick it. He's going to catch just about everything. And the other thing is, I've seen him play golf before. He's a very avid golfer. He can swing a golf club, which leads me to believe he can swing a bat.
By the way, how funny was that Monday at the training facility for Media Day? All you saw was Max Christie out of nowhere. Just kind of, it was almost like he was chipping.
Yeah.
Just kind of gave a little bit of a, hey, Max, you play?
I had to ask. He kept doing it all over the place.
It was pretty funny. It was like, he was over, let's say 10
feet?
15 feet from where we were doing something with the social team. And he just kind of gave, and like almost in his backswing, you're like, hey, Max, do you play?
I wanted to know.
That was during a break too, right? I think
it was during a break because he had been doing it all day. I'd seen him do it, and it was the first time he was close enough for me to kind of yell at him after he was doing it. And what he was working on, Slee, he was working on his hands at impact. And I know exactly what it is that he was doing because you don't want to flip the hands too early. You don't want to leave them back. You got to square that face at impact. And that's what
I thought you were just going to go up like behind him and say, I don't know what you're working on, but let me do this. Your elbow's got to come out a little bit.
And teach him from behind, too.
No, here, you got to move your hips, Max. You got to slide him back.
Darvin Ham's walking by like, what are you doing? Darvin, what are you doing over here? Trav,
and then we're not invited next year.
So here, look, you really want to know what I was doing? I think you probably know deep down in your heart that this was the equivalent of shooting your shot.
Yeah. Hey, you come with me next time.
Like, hey, Max, do you play? Yeah. Do you? Yeah, I sure do. Well, we should go play sometime. Yeah, we should. Let's go do it. I'm just
come to the ESPN Golf Classic.
Absolutely.
You, Austin Reeves. I know a lot of guys in the team play. So
Reeves plays definitely.
Well, that's what he goes. Unless you saw her on a golf course, I wasn't with Taylor Swift because he goes. I go to the gym and I go to the golf course. That's all it is. That guy's gonna have a great year.
Reeves.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him. I want it to happen.
Me too.
Well, his path too. Like those are very easy stories to cheer for. We joke around about this, but think of just last year with Austin Reeves. There was a moment where you're like, hey, can we get this guy a little bit more playing time? And then it was, what do you think about closing out a game with Austin Reeves? And then it was, hey, are we putting him in the starting lineup or not? And then after that, it became, if he's not playing 35 minutes a game, you're asking the question why. And by the way, he was playing 35 minutes a game, so you didn't have to ask that question.
It reminds me of Puka a little bit. Like it's a little bit of found money where, okay, wait, is that guy good? I think that guy's good. Well, give him the ball a little more. Let's see what happens. Wait, is he really good? Yeah, he might be really good. Let's give him the ball some more. And you start to realize that just because it wasn't what you expected, just because they weren't drafted in the first round or they didn't go to, Kentucky or they didn't go to Alabama to play
doesn't
football.
Doesn't
have to be that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it doesn't look what you think it's going to look like or come from where you think it's going to come from. It doesn't mean it's not really, really good. And the Rams have been able to identify that with Cooper Kupp. They might have been able to do it with Puka. The Lakers have been terrific at that, finding guys late in the first round and in second round undrafted players. Yeah. The top 5 guys, everybody can kind of identify those. But hey, who's the 24th best guy in the draft? That's a much harder. Who's the 42nd best guy in the draft? That's a very difficult thing to identify, and you can get lucky once in a while, but you can't do it over. Whether it's Josh Hart, whether it's Kuzma, whether it's Austin Reeves, like I've been able to identify Caruso, real NBA players way down in the draft where other teams are just kind of throwing darts.
It's going to be interesting too because, this year, as much as we sit and say, okay, LeBron's got to be healthy, AD's got to be healthy, they're not playing 70 games. Those two guys are not going to play. It's actually kind of interesting.
What do you think the number is for both of them? Do you think it's the same?
55, 60.
For both?
Yeah. 60.
I'd take 60.
Yeah, I'd take 60 too.
I'd take 60.
Skipping some back-to-backs because what do they have, 15 or 14 back-to-backs this year?
Something like that.
Yeah, so, but I think
so that
right.
takes
I think
15 off of the 80. That takes us down to 67.
We'll take 7, right? Let's say you're taking off one of them.
Right. You're right.
So
now you're down to 75.
But okay.
That gives you 15 more days off. That's a lot.
I don't think they're the same. Like, I want to see Braun sit much more than AD.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right? And if I will say this, and we're going to find out, and we're going to wait to see what happens, believe it or not, I still think they can win games even if one of those guys are out. That there is enough talent on the team and enough depth on the team that they can piece it together for 82 games.
A much better way to win games than they did a year ago. Whether you can win without your 2 best players, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but at least they have a puncher's chance. At least it's last year, if you didn't have LeBron and AD at the start of the season, it's like they're not going to win the night, and they never did. They just didn't have the horsepower to get it done. Now they do. With whether it's Rui, whether it's Reeves, whether
Christian
it's Gabe
Wood.
Vincent, Christian
the
Wood.
list, yeah.
You've got enough guys to fill in and get something done. If you're playing the Nuggets or the Bucks, probably not.
Yeah.
But if you're playing the Hawks or the Cavs, yeah, you can win that game with those guys.
Christie had a nice, I thought.
Impact. Square your hands at impact, Slee.
Get it in there.
Square those hands at impact.
By the way, he was doing that, you mentioned even after you talked to him. There are times I just randomly see him, like you mentioned, he's full swing.
That's what I'm saying.
He's putting the ball down.
This is what happens when I don't know if he's new to golf. He may have been golfing his whole life. I don't know. But that I'm constantly trying to find it is a relatively new to golf thing usually. He could be like, oh, I really like, maybe Reeves took him out and they go knock around the par 3s.
He's a young guy, got some money probably, and it's a nice hobby.
You know what I would love to do? Find somebody like that's got a little bit of money in their pocket and take them golf shopping and say, we're going to get this. Here's what, you don't need any of that. Come on over here. Your bag. Perfect. It would be set up perfect. The Dump coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
For everything we haven't gotten to today, yes, it's time for the dump.
So here's something we haven't gotten to today. So Parker Bell of Dodger Blue Review.
Yep.
Okay, who has taken over Blue Review. So it's Parker Bell, and then Clinton Yates. Then very tiny letters. It says Greg Bergman on the side of it. Just letting you guys know that's who he is. So if you watch the shows, that's who Parker is. So Parker is not here today.
Where is he?
He's taking some time off. He's going to man camp. Whatever that means.
What'd you say?
Man camp. He's going to go...
Band camp?
Nope. The
M-A-N.
male form.
Okay.
Man camp, where he goes and fishes with 20 of his best friends, I guess. I don't have 20 best friends, but I guess he does. And they go be men together? I don't know. Jorge, can you tell me?
Yeah, okay. Is this like you register online and there's like random people
no,
there,
I guess,
or it's his guys?
According to the information I got from Chivato back there, DeAndre, it's 20 of his buddies.
Okay.
And they go out to Catalina or wherever they go.
Okay.
And the whole purpose is for them to go fishing for lobster, crab, whatever they can get.
Okay.
But in order for them to go there, they must apply and buy a fishing license.
Yeah.
So he's gonna do this for I don't know how long.
But it's his boys.
Yes,
But
it's his boys.
4 of his friends.
They go
20.
fishing. I'm assuming they're going camping. They're gonna, I guess,
You got
howl
room
at
for
the
one
moon.
more?
Like, what else do you do if you're a man at camp? Yeah, you go.
They shouldn't
get
call
in
it.
touch
First
with
of all,
the
I don't
moon.
know. I don't know
That's
if
what he
They
said.
need to
the
rename
title of
their-
it. Yeah, I don't know about the title.
What are you doing this weekend? I'm going
Man
fishing with
camp.
my buddies.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Where are you going? Catalina.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to
Man camp. They talk
doing
about
what now?
IPAs.
You're huh? I'm going to man camp.
So he tweeted it out, and I replied, WTF.
I mean, the description is everything. Because if he said, yeah, hanging out, big group of my buddies, Catalina, camping,
Or
fishing,
even
the whole thing.
Boys weekend. We understand what boys weekend means.
Man camp is an interesting one. I've not heard it described
It's
that way.
evocative of something that he's not doing. I don't know. I just
You know
camping,
what?
like you said, fishing trip. You go.
Next time I go camping, I'm going to call it man camp. I can't.
I'm gonna go to
'cause
I'm gonna
the
go
girl
wood
comes
camping.
with me.
Lady Slee's there. It's not man camp. It's co-ed camp.
But if you're there with just rookie and you howl at the moon together, then
that
that's
could be
man
man
camp.
camp. Okay. Have you ever been on one of those long fishing trips, like with a group of guys or whatever?
No. You're talking about like multiple days. I mean, even when people go out and they go deep sea fishing
Yeah,
and
have
they
you
got to
done
go
that?
out like 6 hours, something like that, I have not done that.
I've done it once, so that should tell you whether or not I had a good time doing
Were
it.
you seasick?
I wasn't. I didn't know. I didn't get
Okay.
seasick. I'd say
Pretty
I'm in
good
the
at
middle
that?
there. I'm not terrible. I mean, I couldn't go through a hurricane and not
Because
get
a lot
sick.
of times this is.
No, it was the ocean was relatively calm, but so you get on the boat in San Diego at like 10 o'clock that night. You load in, you put all the gear in the boat, and then the boat heads out, and it goes all night. And then as the sun comes up, you start fishing. Okay, that's cool. But I didn't realize that the boat was moving all night long and literally just like due west. You're just going deeper and deeper out into the ocean. So you fish until the sun's about to come down.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, we're going back in. I'm like, cool. What, we get there in an hour?
You put your ways on?
It took like 7 hours to get back to the harbor
yeah.
in San Diego. It was the longest day of my because I'm not
Man camp.
fishing it's fine. It's not for me, but I get why people like it.
Yeah.
7 hours on a
Long
boat.
time.
Would you guys go Rosarito?
We were
Much
probably
further.
closer to Japan than we were to San Diego. I can tell you that. We were way the hell out there. It was a long trip.
All right, change the name. That's all we're saying.
Yeah,
man
come on, man.
Change the name.
According to some reports, Urban Meyer will interview for Michigan State's head football coach job. Quote, Michigan State has a lot of donors to back this type of deal up, so we will see where it goes. Bruce Feldman, college football reporter extraordinaire, said about the, quote, reports linking Urban Meyer to the Michigan State head coaching job. I just checked with him. There's zero truth to it with him being a candidate for it. He has no interest in that, and he's happy with what he's doing at Fox Sports.
He's taking care of his health.
Uh-huh. Right. I believe that's what he did after Florida before he took the Ohio State job. I think he was taking care of his health at that point as well. Okay. Of all the places that can't hire Urban Meyer, isn't Michigan State number one on the list? The Larry Nassar situation that they had, Mel Tucker, they've had 2 scandals in a row. And
in the past 5 years.
In a relatively short period of time. To turn around and bring in another guy that's almost guaranteed, maybe not to bring you that type of scandal, but to bring something there, or does nobody give a damn
Nobody
because
cares.
he's a really good coach?
Nobody cares. I mean, honestly, what it comes down to, I'd love to pretend like college football, these universities, these businesses, because that's what they are, they're businesses. They don't care, man. They're looking at if Urban Meyer is representing Michigan State, what's that going to do to the fan base?
Right.
What's that going to do to ticket sales? What's that going to do to the product? What's that going to do for a chance to compete with Michigan and some of these other schools? They don't care. They just don't care.
There are only a few coaches that truly can turn around a program and make a huge difference
He's
with
one
the
of them.
play on the field.
Of course.
And he's one of them. It's Lincoln
Yep.
Riley, it's Deion Sanders, it's, I'm sure, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Urban
Well, these
Meyer.
guys and even so much more than Deion were just getting a chance to start seeing, okay,
We'll see.
what's this
But
going to
he's
look
on the
like?
right
We'll
track.
see.
Yeah.
But those other names, here's my resume. Go everywhere I've gone, I've made it happen.
You know, I don't want to be a hypocrite about this because when Clay Helton was the coach at USC and I was jumping up and down like, they got to get rid of this guy, they got to go get somebody else, the guy at the top of my list was Urban Meyer. Because, like Emily said, he is guaranteed to make you competitive. They were good at Bowling Green when he was the head coach. He was good at Utah when he was the head coach.
Yeah.
He was good at Florida, won, 2 titles at Florida, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
He won a title at Ohio State. Now, each place he leaves, it's kind of a
if
weird
this is
spot.
an ethics,
a little bit in disgrace.
if this is an ethics competition, wrong sport. They're not worried about that.
It's National Taco Day today. It's National Taco and National Golf Lovers Day. It's National.
It's your day.
It's the day that 90210 premiered back in 1990.
Jeez, why don't we just call it Travis
It
Rogers
really is.
Day?
It's
It
a
really
good
is.
day. It's a good day.
The only thing, John, that affected Trav, the one scar that he has on today, it's also National Cinnamon Bun Day. He can't do cinnamon buns.
No, not anymore.
He's been scarred for life
Not
since
anymore.
he was 11.
It's not going to happen.
What 3 words, Trav? If I said these 3 words would immediately take you to 90210.
Okay.
Donna Martin graduates.
She got drunk at the prom, Al. See, here's what happened. Her mother, Felice, was this.
You guys
just
are like
monster.
best friends, basically. The way
Trudell is in this club, too.
So,
the 90210
Felice is Donna Martin's mother.
Okay.
And she was that overactive parent that wanted a zero tolerance policy on all these things. Well, it turns out her own daughter got drunk at the prom.
Oh, jeez.
And the punishment for getting
Tori
drunk at
Spelling,
the prom
how could you?
Come on.
was you don't get to graduate with the rest of her class. Well, Brandon, because he is a leader, he's a leader of a student activist, he got all the student body to go down to the school board and chant, Donna Martin graduates.
Donna Martin graduates.
Guess what happened?
She
Donna Martin
graduated.
graduated.
By the way, you know the house that Kelly and Donna lived in at the end of 90210, the blue and white house?
I
On the
did not watch
beach?
the show, but what about it?
On the beach?
Yeah.
You can, when you walk from the Manhattan Beach Pier to the Redondo Beach Pier, you walk right by it,
Okay.
and you can rent it for parties.
No kidding.
I've been to 3 parties there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How much? Do you know what it cost to rent it for the night?
More than it should.
Okay.
And because you're renting,
Got the
and it
storyline.
hasn't been upgraded since 1989 or
Is
whatever.
the interior of that? Did they shoot? I know the exterior, but
Yeah.
was it on a set or was that the
My
interior?
guess
of that
is
place?
no. The interior was probably not in the show. It was the outside, and they shot. But it's literally right on the water. There is no way that Kelly and Donna could have afforded that house. That's all I want to say.
Well, keep in mind, Donna's father was a cardiovascular surgeon.
Yeah, but
so he had
if
pockets.
he
Donna Martin graduates.
if he
that's
was
all I
picking
remember.
up the whole tab, then that's one
Kelly's
thing.
father was some sort of international businessman who did nothing but send money.
Maybe there's your answer.
Yeah, so he was an absentee dad, so he made up with his wallet. So
another
what else do you wanna know?
another 3 words
Sure.
that would take you right to 90210. I choose me.
Oh yeah, right.
You know
The
what that is?
three-headed monster.
Brandon and Dylan were both wanted to hook up with Kelly, and they said, pick one of us, so the other one will back off. She goes, I choose me, and didn't pick either one of them.
I could do this all day. Adolis Garcia just hit a home run for the Rangers. They take a 1-0 lead in Tampa.
Man, they might not even have to go to Arlington.
How about
well,
that?
they don't.
No,
Remember,
they
they're
don't.
all in
All
one
the games.
spot.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
wild
that's
card,
right.
the three
Oh,
game
these-
series
they're
is
all in one time.
All
Three,
in one spot.
3 games, all home team.
All in one spot.
Home games, yeah.
Were you a 90210 guy, Mace?
I was not.
No.
How about
I did-
Melrose?
I
How about
watched it.
Melrose Place?
I did watch Melrose Place.
Okay.
I watched all these shows. I don't remember them the way you guys do.
This
like
is
Seinfeld, I watched all
Insane,
of Seinfeld.
these
Loved
guys.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You guys are so
Mace, just
references
remember,
to Seinfeld.
It's not a lie.
Yeah.
If you believe it.
But in its day, I did watch 90210. I just don't remember, I Choose Me and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was an important
sure
moment.
It must have been.
We thought that this is because Brandon his entire life was pining over Kelly.
Yes.
He finally thought it was going to happen. They finally thought they were going to get married toward the never happened.
Never happened.
Great small
Never
world
happened.
story, Trav. I get to LA, I get the job at KCAL, and I'm working a lot with the Lakers, and I meet my friend Ian Levitt, who worked for the Lakers. He goes, "Hey, do you play basketball?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "We got a pickup game every Tuesday. It's at this middle school. My parents are middle school architects in this really nice middle school in Culver City." And he goes, "If you want to come join," I go, "I'm there." He goes, "Tuesday, 6:30. So I get there a little early. I walk in at 6:15, and sitting just me in the gym, and the only other person in the gym is Luke Perry.
Awesome.
The nicest guy.
He's
no longer with us, passed
Right.
away. The nicest guy you ever meet, and a left-handed shifty point guard.
He could play?
Oh, yeah, like a left-handed Steve Nash.
I would have gotten
And-
that way wrong. I would have not thought Luke Perry had handles.
And was great. Could not have been nicer to everybody.
It's awesome.
Jorge, you know what we should do? A little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
It's not a lie. All right, Mace, you might be proud of me.
Yes.
And everybody else might be.
I'm always proud of you, Slee.
Everybody else might be disgusted by me.
Okay.
You know, I told you I had pizza and wings yesterday. Last night.
Oh, yeah. I know what's coming.
It's not good.
Yeah, I know it's coming.
What do you think it is?
Little something else?
No.
No.
Ate it in bed.
I ate it in bed.
Oh, man.
Pizza and wings in bed.
What the hell is wrong with
See?
you?
People, it's
You do
catching
not
on,
want to
people.
emulate. Steve Mason is the weirdest man in America.
It's
You
catching
do not
on.
want to emulate
Can I
Steve
tell you something?
Mason.
Can I tell you, when this was happening, I'm like, I'm not sharing this with anybody.
Yeah.
This is not
And now
good.
you just said it on the
and
radio.
I just saw Steve sit down, and I'm like,
So,
Mace.
question: did
Yeah.
you put down the protective towel? Because when I eat in bed, I like to put down a protective towel, a big one.
bath
Then
towel?
like a bath towel, and then
he takes a shower with it.
Right, and then afterwards, you just if you spill, it doesn't matter. You just throw it in the wash.
So you're taking a shower with the towel that has
I'm
marinara
not-
sauce on it.
He's exaggerating.
He hasn't
that.
done laundry since 1988.
No, I haven't done laundry since 2004 when I met one. Okay. Yeah.
So what happened to you? Why
I
did this?
don't know.
Come on,
Okay,
man.
here's what it was. I told you I wasn't feeling the best.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I had an option. I had the games already on. Baseball games were already on. I just was so comfortable sitting in
Yeah.
bed.
See?
And I was able to get, we got one of those like wooden tray things so you
very-
can put them.
See, that's a good
that's-
substitute for the protective
That's
towel.
like the classiest thing you could do. That was
Yeah.
like but I have the wood tray.
Yeah.
My girl's looking at me like, you are not eating in bed. You're not eating
Oh, you
pizza.
did in front of other people too. Wow,
She's like,
you just
you're not
jumped all
eating
in.
pizza and wings in bed.
Did
I'm
Lady
like,
Slee get her own little tray?
hell no.
Oh.
She was in the kitchen
Yeah.
eating like a normal
Never
human
been
being.
prouder
And you
of
ate
her.
in bed.
Yes.
I ate in bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Stop
there's
this
some-
immediately.
There's something very, very,
very
disgusting.
luxurious about
Slee,
eating in
you
bed.
are one step away from getting stoned every day.
I
at
don't even
4:20.
have to get out of bed for dinner.
Did you like it, Al?
It's comfortable.
It was
isn't
comfortable.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
comfortable.
let's be honest with
Okay.
you. It's good. But
You gonna
first
do
off,
it tonight?
No, because it's also complicated. There's a
Yeah.
lot of work that goes into it.
Sure.
You got to be very careful when you're moving around.
You do.
It's stressful.
Especially wings.
It was very stressful.
Wings.
Just
I
gonna
mean, you
say,
got to be
man,
careful.
He was saying earlier he told us that he got pizza and wings. He did not share the location where they were eating.
Where I was eating.
But he's talking about the wings come in the little box and there's a little extra sauce. You take the pizza crust.
That
and
buffalo
run it
sauce.
straight.
I'm
You're
using
doing
like
that
that,
in
yeah.
bed?
It was.
Yeah.
There was a lot of work to
Good
be
for
done.
you, man. Good for
I
you.
couldn't move at times where I'm like, okay, don't move. Something can kind of fall over here.
The time will come when everybody eats in bed. Now, you may be 90, but you'll be eating in bed.
I'm not. Well, that could be true. I'm not. If I tried to eat something in bed, I really don't think Susan would allow it. I don't
Really?
I
Good
think,
for
I think
Susan.
it would be a complete like you are not. Or
Can you
if
put
I
your
just
foot
did
down and just tell us what the results are?
If I just did it, right? Just
Right.
like for the bit, she would literally strip the bed down. She'd put on a brand new set of sheets, blankets, pillows. Like it would be a total
Is
non-starter.
that right?
100%.
Yeah. See, bed is a great place. I love bed. Bed is fun. Bed is good. A lot of good things happen in bed. Bed is good for dinner. Bed is good for...
It's not good for dinner. Most of the other sleep is great.
Sleep
Other
is
things are great.
Other things are great.
Yeah.
Bed fun.
Meatloaf
Bed
and mashed
fun.
potatoes is not great in bed.
Yeah.
I love how you guessed it right away. You knew right away.
Oh, I knew. I could tell from the look on your face.
Yeah.
You look relaxed. You look very relaxed. A very relaxing
John
dinner.
said the next step is you're going to be smoking at 4:20
Well,
every day.
yeah, every day. Sure.
John, you look like you saw something on the TV.
Yeah, Tampa just made a really stupid error, and they're about to hand this thing to the Rangers.
Second time in this game, they missed one before
It was
that.
a pop fly to right, and the right fielder decided he would charge at full
Oh, that's a huge
speed
mistake.
and let it go right over his head.
Oh.
And, you can't make that play in a playoff
You
game.
got to stop the
Yeah,
ball.
you've got to
Yeah.
just get in front of that.
Yeah,
thing.
that's got to be stopped. All right,
That's bad
so
news.
Mace, I need your expertise.
Okay.
I mentioned to you guys yesterday that my chili pot in the house went
Yeah.
missing.
All right, so what is the latest? What do we know?
So I haven't
wow.
seen Bobby's still out of town, so I haven't had a chance to talk to him. I
Two-run
did not
shot.
bring it up with Michael.
Oh, wow,
yesterday.
4-0
This
now.
is a route or getting close to one.
Yeah.
So the chili pot is just missing. It's a big pot. It's gone. So I told the story to you guys yesterday on the show. So afterwards, I'm looking at my laptop and I'm flipping through Twitter, and not one, not two, not 10. A lot of people are looking at me like I'm crazy. Apparently, there's something called a gravity bong that you need a big pot to use.
Explain the concept.
I don't know what the concept is. Somebody sent me a diagram. You fill it with
gravity.
water.
I've never even heard of that.
I don't
I've
know
never
what
heard
it
of
is.
Mace, I'll be
either.
disappointed if you don't know what this is. I don't know what it is.
Maybe
I
Mace
have
took it.
I'm gonna
no
look it up
idea
real
what a
quick.
gravity bomb.
Yeah, I don't know what that is
Yeah,
either.
so I don't either, but knowing at least one of my children the way that I do, I'm not saying that that's an impossibility.
Is that right? The
Yes.
gravity
But
bomb.
he would take it without telling you?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Okay. Have you accused him of such
I
an
haven't,
act?
he's out of town.
You can't text
Now, I
him?
would imagine.
I'd like to do these things
How about
face to
this?
face.
No, Trap, how about this? Just send him a text. Any idea where the chili pot is? Don't with no explanation.
And what is a
no-
gravity bong?
Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
what
looking
is
up
a
right now.
gravity
and
bomb?
Okay,
see
guys,
if
ready?
he comes clean.
Yes.
So, a gravity bong, this is according to Google.
Yep.
A gravity bong, also known as a GB,
Oh, yeah.
bucket bong, grav, Geeb, yoin, or another one.
I call it a geef.
Okay. is a method of consuming smokable substances such as cannabis. This term describes both a bucket bong and a waterfall bong, since both air pressure and water are used to draw smoke. So it's just what
Well,
about
you've got water. Right. You fill it up with water.
why not an apple or a Coke can like we always used to
Yeah,
do?
I always used to do the apple.
Yeah, the apple, because then you can
apple's
eat it
easy.
after.
And then
and
afterwards you got a meal.
Or just the
got a
regular,
snack.
the regular glass
Stoned,
bong.
and you got a snack right there. It's so easy.
peanut butter on it. So the reason I don't just send
a little peanut butter.
The reason you don't just send a text is what?
because he's shifty.
That's funny.
Well, wait a minute. But if you just send that one line, do you have any idea where the chili pot is? What will the response be?
Probably no response, first of all.
Okay.
Probably, and then if I doubled up, it'd be, huh? It would be this whole thing.
He'd play dumb.
And in person, it's much easier to counterpunch the
Right.
responses.
You've got
than it is
the
on
you've got
TV.
the chair
when do you
with the
think you'll see him in person next?
Today.
Do you have the
Okay.
chair
He's
with
back.
the single light bulb swinging back and forth as you interrogate him?
one wrist chained to the desk.
Exactly.
It's like Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct.
This makes a lot of sense, and I just hope that it's the one and not the other.
Yeah.
because
How
that's
old
a
is
whole
he?
nother- 22.
Oh,
He's-
what the hell?
No, I'm not mad.
You
I
wanna-
just-
at the
I just want my
perfect-
pot
You
back.
want a GB, you get a GB. That's what I
You want
say.
say that carefully, Trev. You want your chili pot back.
Well, yes, I want
you
my
don't want
chili
the
pot.
other pot
No, no, no.
necessarily.
If there's an age where somebody takes a chili pot for a gravity bong, it's 22.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
like the
22-year-old
perfect age
thing.
for
I'm not
that.
upset that he's using it as a gravity
Just
bong.
wants it
If
back.
that's in fact what's happening, I just want my chili pot back.
Right.
I just want to be able to
Two
make
words
things-
that I did not imagine I would put together on the show today: gravity bong. Did not see that coming.
You're a little intrigued, though, aren't you?
I am intrigued. I am intrigued. I've got a great big pot at home. Set up a gravity
Well,
bong.
If I'm looking at some of these pictures, you need a pot. You need
Some
here
sort
you
of
go.
pipe.
There's like instructions online. If
Water.
you'd like to do this. Water, a pot, and then a small
your
like,
weed.
bottle, and then whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So knock yourself out, man.
He's
Do
on
me a
it.
favor, text me that.
I'll send you the link.
Screenshot that. Screenshot that.
Yeah,
There's
screenshot
looked to be a lot of
Yeah, send me a link.
I think we solved the mystery.
Send me a link. GB.com. Geeb.com. Noin.com. Was Noin one of them too? Noin, I think.
Hold on.
Noin, Geeb. I was trying to remember the nickname.
GB. Bucket Bong. Grav. Right? Or is it Grave? It's Grave without an E. Grav?
Yeah, Grav.
Okay. Geeb.
That's one I have.
Geeb. Yeah,
Yoin. Yoin. Double yoin.
Yoin.
If you go to a smoke shop and say, I'm looking for a Geeb,
they'll know.
They'll know.
If they have any idea what the hell that
Step
means.
one, get your parents' chili pot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the first
Okay,
part of it.
did you guys see, it just came out yesterday, the Astros Edge. This is the one
John
on
saw it.
Frontline.
I've got a
What'd you think?
DVR. I did not watch it.
Very interesting. The question I wanted to throw out was Faye Vincent, the former commissioner, says in that documentary, if it were up to him, if he
ban
was
him.
still the commissioner, he would have thrown all of those players out for life.
Banned
he would
them.
have treated them like the 1919 buy. I would have suspended them for 2 years each. 2 years without pay, you're out of the game. And you can come back after that. That sends a serious. I would not have banned them for life. How about you guys?
There's a problem with that. I like you have to punish them. I think that where Manfred missed the most is by doing nothing.
Right.
You had to do something. But a lifetime ban or even a ban as long as you're talking about, guys, they weren't the only ones doing it. And the second you swing the hammer like that, they're going to say, well, what about them? What about them? What
A lot of people think the Dodgers were in
But
on
at
it.
half
that
of baseball's
time,
gone.
At that time, 2017.
Yeah.
Did we know of any? Was there evidence of anybody else
There's
doing
not
this?
well, the Red Sox were involved in something.
Yeah.
Something,
Right?
but that was 2018, right?
But my point is that I think their program was probably a little more sophisticated than everybody's else, maybe a little more widespread than everybody's else. But this is one of those. I'm gonna spill. You get me in the room. You start interrogating me. I'm gonna start.
But
letting guys
if
out.
you threw the book at them, don't you think it would be a huge deterrent for
I think it was
anybody
going-
2018 and beyond?
Moving forward for sure. But I think at the time it's like, well, I can tell you how this team or that team.
The problem
does
is
it,
you
and
did
now you're
nothing.
Open.
Problem is you did nothing,
can't do
right?
nothing.
So
You can't do
that's
nothing.
whatever the middle ground is of that. But you thought it was good?
I did.
I thought it was. Watch it. And
Yeah,
I,
I've
and
got a DVR.
I didn't even know it was coming out yesterday. But the Astros video operating manager, who was an open book in this entire thing, it's fascinating. It really is. Like how it all got started.
Tell that one. The one story is amazing. That he was making $45,000 a year. That guy.
So his salary was $45,000, and I guess there's a playoff share that I don't know how the team determines where it goes to.
Right, they vote
Right?
at
Okay.
the end of the year.
Okay.
They say, like Alan Sui, do we give him a full share? Do we give him a half share?
So they end up winning the World Series. So the further you go on, I think the share gets bigger. You win the World
Get one
Series,
further
now it's the
around.
highest,
Yeah.
and you go from there. And he asked him, he said, okay, so did you get any type of share in this? He said, yes. He said, how much did you get in the share? He said, $450,000. The guy stops. He's like, you were making $45,000 and you got $450,000 of a
He made
of
10
a
years
share.
worth of money.
And he said, exact words is, I paid off all my college loans. I paid off my car. I did this. I did that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing funny going on.
Yeah. No, nothing.
It surprised me.
All that for dragging a TV to a certain spot and turning the
It
channel.
surprised me that Jeff Lunau was not only as candid as he was, but he just now doesn't seem to care.
Well, he knows he's never coming back.
Right.
What's he do? What's his life now? Did he go back to Wall
He's
Street?
running.
He's a
No,
Wall Street
he's
guy.
running a soccer team in Spain.
Oh,
and he's like
the same philosophy that
wonder
he
how
took.
the hell he's cheating there.
Well, it's like Canseco, right? When Canseco knew he was never coming back, he just turned the gun on everybody.
Yeah, right.
He
Yeah.
just said, you,
It's
you,
good-
and
it's
you.
a good comp.
Yeah, that once I know I'm persona non grata, I'm going to tell you what I know.
Yeah.
What difference does it make at this point? Yeah, but he doesn't give a damn, right? He clearly doesn't give a damn. He'd let it all out there, and Luno's doing it too. Here, one last one on that. I'm never going to let it go. I'm never going to look at Bregman and Correa and
me
Springer
either.
and those. I'm never going to let it go. The problem is the Astros have been good ever since. too.
correct.
And every time they're good, another time, it's just a little bit.
Last year was big. Last year was big.
Although even the name of that documentary was Astros Edge. It is a game of exploiting weaknesses,
Sure.
right? And what they were able to do was to exploit weaknesses. Now, they did win the World Series last year. Did they win legit in 2017?
Probably
no,
not.
but they did build a really good farm system that continues
With
producing
really good
prospects
players.
with really good players. Yeah,
it gets more complicated the better they are.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, because it was much easier just to hate them when they had the one.
I still hate them.
I do too.
Yeah.
But to hate them now is not as easy as it was when it was all those.
Yeah, I'll
guys.
never let it go. Dog with a bone.
I'm with you.
Don't take my bone.
I'm with you. Super Crosstalk's brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger is all about. Get your Geeb, Mace.
Yeah.